Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Inkster City Council orientation session. This is a time for us to be able to go through the agenda as council and ask any questions of the administration that we can answer at this time. So we can move through the agenda, come for the general meeting. So I'm going to take this time to get off into the agenda. It's approximately 6:01 p.m. on February the 15th. So we're going to get off into it. So we do have a number of items to deal with tonight. I'm under public hearing. We have a couple of items. We can start with the city council. If you guys have any questions as it relates to item A under public hearing, be recognized at this time.
Yep, I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilman Chisholm. And let me make sure too, I know Don Wall was the person who's actually dealing with this item. I don't see her on here as of yet.
I don't either, unless she called in by telephone, because sometimes she does that too.
Okay. Officer Wall, if you're on the call, if you could raise your hand to be recognized. And Felicia, let's see if we can get her on the line. If she's not already. Yeah, I don't see her on the line. Okay, well, let's, Steve, we can see what we can answer.
All right, just unmuted myself. I just wanted to put this agenda back up. But 91.15, like 7th line down, and I saw it a couple of times. I was just wondering, I know they're taking it out of the clerk's office, and it was saying to move it to the department that the mayor would designate. I was just wondering how come we wouldn't just move it all together, since it's dealing with animal control under the records department with the record supervisor and or the animal officer.
Yeah, I think that's something that you guys actually start dealing with this with the previous administration. So I know that Officer Wall wanted to move everything out of the clerk's office over to PD. I think she's the person to definitely answer that question.
Okay.
But I totally agree that we could move it, just under the records keeping bureau. Makes sense. Is that something that you're suggesting that we do?
Yeah, it just, to me, that made that particular, if you will, it just made sense to have it all there as to why it would be in the mayor's office. That's not something the mayor usually feels.
Yeah, no, we're not trying to do that at all. So that wasn't the intent, I don't think. I think it was just for us to be able to say where it would actually go.
I mean, we can always give you one of those nets and some little sticks with the hooks on them.
I always wonder how that worked, though. So I think I'm going to take a trip this summer to get on the truck.
So it was that, and then it was, so that's 91.15, then it was 91.35. That entire section was crossed out.
Okay.
And
let's see, Felicia, have you got a chance to get in contact with her? Is she answering? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Right now, I'm still trying to contact her.
Okay. Okay, I know that they asked for this to be on tonight.
Yeah, and it's just the first reading, though.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. But definitely questions. And you were saying that the section was crossed out. What was it?
91.35 is crossed out completely in red. It used to say, I guess, I'm scrolling down to it right now because I didn't actually write the page number down. But I think it said kennel before. And now it's, oops, I may have went past it. Yeah, it said, oh, that's the clean copy altogether. So when you scroll, it's not, but it said kennel before. And I don't know if they're just changing that and using dog pound altogether, because that entire section was all red, and now 91.35 to 91.35 says reserved. administration and enforcement, and then it drops down to 9155 dog pound.
Right, yeah, I see that. Okay, like you said, it's the first reading, so we'll make sure we get those questions answered.
Mr. Mayor, it looks like she's on now.
Okay. Sergeant Wall? Yeah, I see her there. Steve, you can unmute her.
Okay, and this is page 50.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Don.
I apologize. I was on a different device and I was having some trouble with it trying to get on. I did hear the question regarding the movement of the licensing.
And your response?
Oh, I was looking at my phone. There was something popping up. Basically, the movement was to make it consistent so that we wouldn't have to reopen the ordinance if a change was made yet again. If you recall, the licensing had originally been at the rec center. It was then moved to the clerk's office, and now for the continuity purposes, moved to the police department. So the language that was changed was just an effort to having to prevent reopening the ordinance to specify where the licensing would be held. It could be at the mayor's discretion.
Understood.
And then, so Councilman Chisholm made a suggestion. Is that what we're doing as it relates to the Record Bureau and the Animal Control Office? Is that where it'll be
Correct.
handled?
Yes, it's at the police department currently.
Okay.
And then the additional one, I don't know if you heard that before you got on while you're trying to connect, 9135. That is on page 15. That entire section had been crossed out. And I saw this in the clean copy, administration and something reserved. So I was just trying to get clarity on that.
That was actually a section that we removed. It was to allow for kennels and residential areas. And this ordinance being drafted in 1968, that may have been more of an issue at that time. We feel like at this point, kennels do not need to be, we have our pet sweet retreat, we have other kennels and other avenues for puppy sitting and that kind of thing. So, and the breeding is already an issue in the city. So we just elected to try to remove that, feeling it was outdated.
Okay, that clears it up for me. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on item A? And like Councilman Chisholm said, this is the first reading. So we will have other discussions on this before we vote on this item. Any other questions? All right, let's move along to item B. Any questions? This is first reading. And the chief of police is out of town. I don't know if he's going to be on tonight. At the same time, we do have some representatives for this on the line. I don't know if Valerie Bonner, if you're on the line, if you could raise your hand. No, I did tell her that the meeting was at 7, so. And we'll be doing orientation at 6. So I don't know if she got on yet. Okay.
I do have a question for the
Go ahead,
record.
please. Yeah.
I was just wondering, as far as drug paraphernalia or what this is including, why what's the reason behind this ordinance outside of it complying with the state? Like me, what I was reading, different things and verbiage that it used, some of those items are sold in like gas stations and stuff, or places that might have, medical or recreational marijuana. I was just trying to get clarity on it. Does this ban those items from all of those stores within the city? I was just lost by what I read, and there was no like a clean copy and a old copy. It was just all brand new. So I was trying to get clarity on that because I'm lost.
Man, the chief is on.
You said he is on?
He's
Chief,
on somewhere. Yeah.
Chief Riley?
Yes. There's somebody using his number.
Oh, I see his name now.
Yeah. He's on.
He can unmute himself if he can hear us.
Hey, Steve.
Yep, we can hear you now.
Hey, I was just finishing up another meeting that's trying to draw me, and I was trying to, so I could hear you. I was already being muted, and I was just listening.
Okay, were you able to hear my question in full?
No, I did not, sir. I did not.
No problem. I'll repeat it. I was saying on that ordinance for the drug paraphernalia,
Okay, yeah.
I was trying to understand what the reasoning behind this ordinance was outside of complying with the state, and what does it really do? Does it like include marijuana establishments that sell medical or recreational marijuana, or is this to stop like gas stations and stuff from selling the particular devices? Like, what's up with it?
No, it has nothing to do any of that. Basically, what the ordinance is that the state has already changed their ordinance to the language that we're asked that we did, and what that is because the state themselves and sometimes get money through the federal government to assist with like clean clean needles and other things of that nature. They was looking for localities to change their ordinance to fit the state ordinance, even though the state has, please, we don't outweigh the state. It's just that they was trying to make sure that everything is cohesive, that all the ordinance kind of like read the same as the state. It does not take away from me stopping someone doing something illegal with paraphernalia. It has nothing to do with that. All it is saying that it's sometimes the state will provide funding to certain agencies that may give out needles, prophylactics, or things of that nature, so that somebody will not say, I know it sounds crazy, but so that somebody will not try to give these people a ticket or lock them up when they're already operating within the state. That's all it is. Please don't read anything into it. That's all it is. It's just we're just coming in line with the state ordinance, so that we don't look foolish if somebody go out and do something foolish by saying, okay, well, our ordinance says X, but the state ordinance says Y. The state trumps us anyhow, but they're just trying to bring all that in line. That's all. Please don't read anything else into it. That's
I just needed clarity. Thank you.
That's it.
And I yield the floor, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Chisholm. Anyone else, any questions as it relates to public hearing for the first reading on the ordinance? All right, moving right along. Previous business, Tracy, if you could speak to that. So just for, we can all be on the same page, if we can remove it from the table or what's going on with that.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As it relates to both or all rather applications for land sales and outstanding balances and issues for SEW LLC, Mr. Sean Wimberly has paid all back arrears owed to the city of Inkster and has made sure that he's able to get his properties inspected by inspections department. He is up to date with everything as of this meeting, and Miss Patricia paid her back water arrears as well.
All right, council, any questions about removing those items for previous business off the table for tonight's meeting?
I didn't hear you, Mr. Mayor, what you said?
Go ahead, sir.
No, I didn't hear you. You were saying something.
No, I said any questions. I'm sorry. I was saying any questions as it relates to removing those items from the table for previous business tonight.
Mr. Chair, I just had a question with now I don't know if they got a chance to get that that checklist. I know Mayor Pro Tem asked about it. I thought we was going to have that within the packet. Is that something that the administration is working on, or?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was emailed to council at this afternoon at 4:46. The checklist for each one of these properties.
Yeah, I know it's something that Tracy had been working on, and it was actually the checklist, Councilman Shaw, that she was working off of in the first place. So she just didn't include it into the packet for last time around. Being old
Yeah, I mean,
business, I told her to
and,
make
and
sure she included this stuff for tonight's meeting.
yeah, and that's why I thought it was going to be in this packet. It wasn't a big issue for me. The good standing letter, I thought that they was working off of that. That's what I usually work off of, because it does say some things that, you know, do they have any, you know, outstanding bills, anything like that. So, but you know, we did ask about it on the last meeting, so I thought it would be in this packet. So, not email, but in the packet.
Yeah, correct. I know that she was actually working on stuff all the way up until this afternoon to make sure that we had anything, just in case that we had to remove it from the agenda altogether.
Okay, all right.
So moving forward, though, we will have it for each land sale moving forward in the packet.
Okay, on them
Okay,
two,
never mind.
the ones you just indicated, are we putting them back on the agenda, keeping them off the table?
Well, that'll be for us moving into previous business, and if we do remove them from the table, I would ask that we remove them all at one time, just like we tabled them all at one time, so we can move through the business. So it's up to this body whether you remove them or not, but at this point, everybody's in good standing from what I'm hearing.
So we just need to put them back on the agenda then. If they in good standings, they took care of what they're supposed to take care of.
Yeah, that's fine. That's when we just come to that item of previous business, then you would just make a motion to remove all previous business from the table so we can vote on it.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments related to
Yes,
previous
Mr.
business?
Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman Wiley.
as to these people having paid that, I didn't see the receipts or anything of that nature in the packet. Do we have anything of that nature, any documentation?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Tracy can provide all of that. Tracy, can you speak to that, please?
Yes, I can provide that information. I do have it. I can provide it.
And this is just pertaining to the addresses we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, Tracy, I think that Councilwoman Wiley was saying it was in any other properties that these individuals possibly owned that weren't in good standing. And I know you did do a thorough search for SCW, and he did have another property that came up. So for clarification that you did check all of that stuff.
Well, yes, this is in regards to all properties owned by both applicants, Mr. Wimberly and Ms. Hicks.
Okay. And we'll just make sure that we do that for every applicant that comes through from now on, making sure that we go through everything like we're supposed to. So good, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we do have also two moving down some new business. Item A. Alicia, you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. This is item A. This is approval to recognize the City of Angels Foundation as a nonprofit organization within the city. This is something that's kind of standard. In order for them to do a raffle with the State of Michigan Gaming Charity, they have to be recognized in the city their nonprofit is as a nonprofit. They want to do a raffle to go to Tanzania, Africa, and they are doing this raffle and allow for some Inkster residents, some children to be able to go to Africa. And the person who is applying for this nonprofit status, Mr. Denham, is also on the line if you had any other additional questions.
Councilman Chisholm, if you could just unmute Mr. Denham, that way you can speak to address this body.
He's already unmuted.
All right, perfect.
I'm not sure if he has any sound, but it says he's not muted. Okay.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
If you guys can hear me.
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Okay. Do you need video?
No, you can just tell us about
Okay.
your
Okay,
organization.
so my name is John Denham. I am the president of City of Angels Foundation. We're headquartered right here in Inkster. I've been a resident since 2017. City of Angels has been in existence since 1968. It started off as a Little League baseball organization. I turned it, after I got control of it, I turned it into a nonprofit. I changed the name and started looking for some opportunities for us to be involved in. So we just got involved a couple of years ago with an organization called the Ledge Group. It's a nationwide group that does work in Africa and here in the States. We like build resorts, we dig wells, maternity wards. There's a maternity ward being built in Zambia. The actual lodge that we're going to send the children to is in Tanzania. That's, I forget the name of the city. I think it's called Azara. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff there. So there's like a big 5,000 square foot lodge there. And the grand opening is going to be in August, it's starting August 15th through September the 5th. So at a board meeting with the Ledge Group, we decided to send 2 to 3 children to the lodge in Tanzania for a 7-day safari. We want one of those children to be from Inkster. That was one of my requirements. Each one of those trips will be worth about $10,000. It's going to cost us, because we own the lodge, it'll cost us about $5,000 to $6,000. The children will be chaperoned by one of our board members who we will vet to make sure, you know, there's no issues with background or anything. Like was mentioned, the state of Michigan requires that we submit an application with an endorsement from the city recognizing us as a charitable organization that's headquartered in the city. So that's why I'm here today. I think that pretty much covers everything, except for we will have the raffle will be, we're going to have it on Juneteenth, so June 19th of this year. We'll sell 500 tickets for $50 a piece. We expect to raise between $10,000 and $15,000. There's absolutely no cost to the city. In fact, we're encouraging the city to figure out some creative ways to use our raffle to promote the city. I think one way to do that would be the city helping us to choose a deserving child, a male or a female, so it really doesn't matter. We want a child that needs some kind of push in the right direction. So the child will not be the person winning the trip. That raffle will be for the adults. They're going to help us fund the trip for the children that we pick. Other than that, I'll turn the floor back over to the council for questions, if any.
All right, any questions? What you heard? All right, Mr. Denning, thank you so very much.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I couldn't get my mic on.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just have a question to ask about the some of the dates on the paperwork that was given to us was back in 1960. Is that when they were the Little League group, Northwest Little League?
Mr. Denham? I'm gonna ask him to unmute his.
There you go. Okay, I was muted for a second there.
Go
yes, that organization was started off as a Little League organization. So it's Northwest Detroit Little League.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in operation as the City of Angels since what year then? When
that had to be about 2015.
15. And
Yes,
have you done what other functions have you put on as the nonprofit since then?
So far we've done collections for children with cancer. So we had a DBA called Help the Children with Cancer, and we actually had volunteers out collecting donations for that, which we turned over to the Cancer Foundation. Secondly, there was another thing we did. What was it? Yes, we did a collection for children that were victims of being burned out of their homes. So we pretty much we've done collections for a couple of different charities.
Okay, and you're based on Hively Street here in Inkster?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you kind of answered my other question, is how you would go about selecting the child from Inkster who would go. What would be the criteria for that? And would it involve any, I know we haven't had school this year, but would there be some sort of educational component in that?
What I would like to happen is for me to have a conversation with one of the like a school principal or organization here that deals with the youth in the city, so that we can, have some help in picking a person that's worthy of going.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Denny, the age, what's your target age group?
Up to 17 years old.
So you're starting at what age to what age?
12 to 17.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I just have one question.
Councilman Shaw?
Now, are you going to do some work in the city of Inkster as far as raising money for the children of the city of Inkster?
No, we haven't talked about that, but that is something we can do since we are headquartered here. I would like to start doing some work here.
Okay, because by you applying for this and you're looking for an Inkster resident child, I understand that, but we also need some help also.
Yes.
Around here in the city of Inkster, and I just want to get your commitment that after you have launched this enterprise, or you launched this project, that you will be committed to doing some work here in the city of Inkster, because we desperately need that type of help to assist us in some more activity in the city. Can I get your commitment with that?
Absolutely. We would actually love that opportunity. We have been looking for some projects, and I'm thinking Inkster would be a perfect place for us to do some good work. We have a lot of resources, so I think we can be an asset to the city.
Okay, very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for the gentleman? All right, moving right along, item B. I think I saw Mario on the line. Any questions for Mario as it relates to that item? I think it's pretty straightforward. Mario, go ahead.
So, good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. So basically what I'm proposing is an updated revised poverty exemption application for low-income housing in the city of Inkster. And this year it's a little different. Usually we just want the poverty guideline numbers to be approved, but this time the state is making everyone in the state of Michigan update their policy to where previously we would use 5% or 3% of their income plus their homestead credit to determine their revised taxable value. But the state is just is making us update that to just, if they're under the federal poverty guidelines, then they qualify. And it's pretty much simple as that. They are allowing the cities to choose which percent of reduction to reduce from the taxable value, and we are recommending a 50% reduction. And that's in line with all the neighboring cities that's surrounded by the city of Inkster. And it's pretty straightforward, unless, if there's anyone that has any questions about it, willing to answer them. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time being on Zoom.
All right, thank you, Mario. But Mario's our assessor too. He's the city assessor. He's in the office here, typically on Wednesdays, but pretty much all the time I see him around here. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario, for jumping on with us tonight. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, I had one question.
Go ahead, Councilman Williams.
Well, some of the people that is real low income, why just 50%?
Well, it's either the state is making us choose 25, 50, 75%, or 100% reduction. And all the surrounding cities, for example, Dearborn Heights, the city of Wayne, city of Westland, Romulus, Taylor, and in Garden City, they're all recommending 50%, and half of them are already approved by City Council for a 50% reduction. And also speaking with the administration, they also recommended 50% as well.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on there about the guideline, about the minimum amount.
It should be in the file there. I can put it on my camera if you like me to. I don't know if Troy is available.
Yeah, I know Troy just put up the resolution.
So this year's poverty level for a one-person household, it would be, where is it?
It was like 12,000, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely below 13,000. So for a one-person household is 760, and two people in the household it's 17,240, and then so every additional person it's an additional $4,480.
Okay.
There we go, right there. So basically, if a household makes less than those numbers, they automatically qualify for a 50% reduction in their tax bill.
Okay, do they have to apply for it or just automatic when they come in?
Absolutely. They do have to apply. There's about a 6 to 8 page application. We do ask for income tax returns. We ask for proof of income, bank statements, just to verify that everything is correct, and you know, just to make sure there's everything is being reviewed carefully. And if they qualify, if they're under that amount, they get a 50% reduction.
Now that works off the value of the house, am I correct?
Yeah, it'll reduce the taxable value by 50%, which that number is multiplied by the millage rate. So yeah, so basically it'll reduce their tax bill by 50%, but that's not including any special assessments.
Any other questions, Council?
No, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mario?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council.
This isn't exactly a question. It's just in going through the packet, it seems like some of those thresholds were, I mean, if the person had as much as they were asking them to produce, they wouldn't need the discount. And this isn't a condemnation on anyone. In fact, I'd like to know who makes up these rules. I know you said the state of Michigan, but usually they have a panel of some kind. And it might be a good idea if some local people become a part of that to make it more realistic when doing this. That's all I had to say.
Mario, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, so I'm sorry, were you talking about?
There's really no question. There's really no question. It's just me saying that some of those thresholds in that packet seem to be a bit unrealistic, or some of the information that they were asked to provide, if they had all of that, they wouldn't need the discount because they would be over the qualifying mark. All I'm saying is if there's some sort of panel or something, because I know the state of Michigan figures this out, but usually they take into consideration the suggestions of locals. So I was wondering that, but that's okay. It's just a statement.
Right. Any other questions or comments?
Well, just a comment. I know that in 2020 we had 19, Mr. Chair. So Are you anticipating, Mario, that number to increase this year?
I am. Well, there was, out of the 19, I would say most of them were under the guidelines, but because of their income plus their homestead credit, which usually is around $1,500, that allowed them to not qualify. So I gave a scenario. So if 19 people or all 19 were to reapply for 2021, the city would be liable for about 1,330. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong number. The city would be liable for about $6,406. And obviously, there's no way for us to determine or anticipate the increase or influx of applicants, but the number will go up once word of mouth and social media and etc. And there's a lot of homeowners that are on a fixed income, Social Security, for example. A lot of individuals will qualify in the future, I would assume. So there's no way of me figuring out that number, but we can always grant you those numbers in the future.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Right, any other questions or comments?
I just want to know, these applications going to be at the assessor's office?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have them, if approved, we'll have them available for Wednesday. And we'll also place it on the city's website as well under the assessor tab, where all the assessor forms, homeowner forms, exemption applications, everything will be placed with a link in that location.
And is it a period of time that this runs?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The period of time that this runs. I know basically when you be doing the assessed evaluation of properties, a certain period of time. Is this a certain period of time that a person have to fill this application out from?
Yeah, so we have 3 boards of reviews. We have one in March, one in July, and one in December. So as long as the applicant submits their application prior to, or at least by, before the conclusion of the December board of review, it would apply for that current tax year. And it's only for current year only. And applicants will have to reapply every year in order to receive the exemption.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments regarding item B? All right, moving along to item C. EJ?
Yep. So we are requesting that council approve a 6-week agreement with Sue Justice, who is the founder and owner of Emory HR LLC. Reason being for this, as we all know, we have been without an HR director for some period of time now, and Sue has nearly 30 years of progressive experience in human resources and consulting, and it seems like a good fit. Sue was willing to drop her rate quite a bit to work with us. So we thought a 6-week introduction period would be good, and then we can reassess at that time. And Sue will be on the line if you wanted to ask her questions now, or if you wanted to ask her during the general session, she can be available. I mean, that's really the bulk of it. I mean, we do have a few HR considerations right now with the IRS and the state that have come to us in the last several weeks, which go back to 2018, 2019, and 2020. These are things that we absolutely would need help with from an HR perspective.
I have some questions.
And just so too, though, Sue had provided us outlined synopsis of our HR department. That was in the packet that was included, I believe, in December.
Mm.
Is that correct, BJ?
I believe so. I have to defer to Rhonda on that.
Yeah, I see
think
Sue, Sue doing like this, so yeah, I think that's
Okay.
it. So actually take her off of mute, and then go ahead, Councilman Chisholm.
Okay, yep, I have some questions, and I guess the administration, there's a couple for the administration and then of course HR as well. Going down at first, I had wanted to know, did the attorneys have an opportunity to review the contract? Because I know normally with any of our contracts, they send an additional indemnification page that's like, you know, in regards to the city.
Yeah, I passed it along to David and spoke with him. I don't know about the additional page you're referring to, but I did connect with David on this.
Yeah,
Okay.
David's on the line. David, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I did receive the contract from VJ. I can't, maybe it was a week ago Friday. I think it was executed on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever day. But there is, you know, subject to council approving the contract with Sue and her company, there is just a small clause I would like to be considered in the HR contract, the agreement.
All righty, thank you. I'll continue on my questions. So I noticed it did say $1,650 a week for 6 weeks, and it comes up to $9,900. Nowhere does it really tell us anything like what's left in the HR line item, how much is coming out for the 6 week part, how much we'll have left to work with and everything once we hire an employee. So I'm hopeful that we can either get some clarity on that, maybe throughout the meeting if you don't have it right now, because what I don't want to happen is one of those things where we get to a certain point, we say, oops, we need to do a budget amendment to add more money out of the general fund to the HR line item so we can continue paying this employee because there was an oversight on our end or whatever.
Speak to that, VJ.
Yep. So the line item we were looking at is the salaries line from the personnel department. And the budget in there is 51,000 for the year. Mm-hmm. And that is just the salary, right? It doesn't include any, like, there's also the benefits lines. And that is around 14,000 right now. So we do have some space in that line item. And that is due to the fact that we haven't had someone in HR in there for some period of time. So our plan was to use the funds allocated to the HR director for salaries and use some portion of that for this.
And then you also too have outstanding HR generalist position that Ms. Rose was actually filling that took some money out of it, correct?
Right. But that's in the Treasury Department.
Treasury and HR, correct?
It's in
between Treasury and HR?
It's in Treasury.
Okay.
All right. And then on page 144, item number 3, compensation, where it states, I think it's the last sentence. In addition to the fees outlined in the scope of work, consultant will charge to client all actual out-of-pocket expenses, including but not limited to meals, travel, lodging, and mileage at the maximum rate published by the IRS. So just for clarity, that's not included in the contract. That's something, if in those funds that will be being paid out, that's something additional.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay. Page 146, item 11D. Consultant agrees to indemnify client against all damages caused by consultant's negligent performance of professional services, subject to subsection E below. Client agrees to indemnify consultant against all damages caused by client's negligent acts. Is that saying that we're indemnifying each other?
Sue, are you able to touch on that one?
Well, yeah, what that basically means is it depends on the situation. Obviously, it's really just to protect both of us from one or the other, I guess, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, to put it really nicely. So it's really just to protect each one of us, not that I really plan on being negligent in any form, shape, or form. But and I'm not sure really where the city would come on the other end of it, but it's really just my basic contract and agreement to, like I said, just protect both of us.
Okay. And page 149, item 5, evaluate structure of human resources department and assist in hiring for permanent HR position. So I saw all of the things in there that's talking about training the new candidates. And my question, I guess to the administration is, how does that work? Because when we decide to hire someone permanent, I know normally when you start a new job, your first day of pay on payroll is when you begin training. So will we be paying a consultant and then paying a new employee that's being trained? And how does that work with the budget?
That's one of these things where we do have to figure out, like, we do need to find a full-time person for this role. And what Sue's offering to do is certainly help us bridge the gap, fix what we need to fix. In terms of training, like, one thing that Sue and us have discussed is if this relationship continues, if there's an opportunity for more work from home days as opposed to more days on site, there may be some ability to work with the pricing. But we would need some overlap. That's just any sort of cross training. Otherwise, if we ended this contract and hired someone the next day, we're in a host of trouble. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, like it. And I mean, something that Sue has done over the course of her career, like with different consulting and whatnot, like she is able to jump into situations and help fix situations. And that's what we really need here. There's a number of processes that we need cleaned up. There's a number of efficiencies that we need. And we plan to fully utilize her entire background, including her knowledge of employee benefit plans, to get where we need to go, and then to help us take that next step with the next person.
And I'm fine with that. It's just the fact that I can't speak for my colleagues, I need to know stuff like that on the front end, because when, like I said, when we get to the point where we're running out of funds to fund, say, Sue's company and an employee, or vice versa, or both at the same time, and you come to us, or not necessarily you, but the administration comes to us with a budget amendment, and we vote no against it, like, why are we doing this? And we said, well, we ran out of money for that. Well, 5 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever the time frame is, we weren't told that. And so then that's when you get this body in an uproar, and we're talking about the budget and layoffs and things of that nature. My last and final question, and I'll yield the floor to my colleagues, is page 157, time frame. It states the contract is for 6 months with an evaluation at 6 weeks. Note, monthly, bi-weekly reports will be provided to management. I'm confused on that verbiage, because everywhere else it was saying 6 weeks, and now we're saying the contract is for 6 months with an evaluation of 6 weeks. If you do a 6-month contract at the rate that we currently have, it comes up to $39,600. So now I'm lost all over again, and I would like some clarity on that, please.
This may be the old version. Let me.
And the reason I'm asking these particular questions, for clarity, is because when we do vote on the contract, whatever we vote on and it gets signed, that's what's in there. And when we get into a realm of legal matters, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but say something happened where Sue decides that she needs to depart from the city, or in recent times how we did mutual dismissals, and they said, well, our contract binded you to do X, Y, and Z. We're stuck with what's in the hard copy that we voted on, because we didn't vote on the final clean draft.
If I can speak to that, there is part of my contract, and I have to look up to get you the exact place of it, under terminations. City only has to, if you actually want to terminate the agreement, it's 14-day notice on that piece of it. I also put in there that we were going to continue to evaluate it. my goal is to come in. It may take me 2 weeks to get you guys a new reporting of what I see in there, what my goals are, and time, get you a better time frame so that we can work along that. But at the very bottom of that page, it does say if there's any needs to change or adjust that, we can do a new contract. So, and I understand what you're saying is that, you know, you guys don't want to bind the city to any of that. That's not my goal. Obviously, I will never charge somebody who doesn't need my services. It's just really more so of a general commitment, I guess, that, you know, we have some commitment to work together anyway. Obviously, what happens in between that is a continual conversation.
Okay, thank you. Is this the clean copy in our packet, or is there a different copy that this body might need to see?
We can, we'll get you a clean copy. I need
When
to,
you say a clean copy, what you mean? This is what you
or
just
an
submitted.
updated copy. Like
I think that's
if
it,
there's
actually,
worry,
BJ.
like, is there a worry around the time
6
frame?
months. I
Still?
think that's what you were, yeah, so, you know, this body has the power to say then, you know, 6 months is the contract, and based off of the, you know, attorney and his revisions or whatever he needs to do, once he, you know, he sees the resolution and what we want to have in there, and that's what it'll be. So if that's the maker of the motion, will just say 6 weeks, and that's what it will be.
Okay.
All righty,
A
thank you.
resolution.
Back to the floor.
All right, any other questions?
I had a question, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
In regards to the training, would that training mean that you will be actually on site more, or that mean you still be on site for only 3 days?
I think that as far as the training goes, it depends on what's needed. My goal is to hopefully have the department to a point that it's easier for an experienced HR person to come in, so that the training is almost more of a handoff to where, okay, let's set you up and onboard you and go along. But yes, the 3 days would definitely be that. It also, you know, I think it depends on where we all are at with COVID and all of that, as well as far as on site. So I don't know that I can commit to the answer until I get closer throughout the progress of the 6 weeks.
Okay, yeah, because I guess that was one of my concerns, is if there is more days that is need to be on site for training, you know, how much more money would that be? That doesn't really, that's not actually really in this. So
Let me just say we started with 1 day with Sue being on site and working with us, and we were able to get her up to 3 days with us, and we really appreciate that. We're not looking for, again, this contract to extend over 6 weeks, but we have a lot of outstanding issues that we do need her help with. She's already been pretty much, you know, brought up to speed herself with, you know, the Human Resource Department. As she says, she's going to do a second evaluation of the department when she's here, hands-on. So I requested for her to be here 3 days versus being off-site, so we could have access to her and her expertise. And then, of course, hiring and bringing on a new person to work with us, which I did forward you a resume of our old risk manager, Fred Hill, that has applied to us and is looking to come aboard and interview with us, and Sue will be part of that process. So, yeah, so we're just trying to make sure that we make it as streamlined as possible and not cost the city any more money at the same time, not exposing us to any liability. I hope that answered your question, Councilwoman Washington. Any other questions or comments from this body for right now? I know we're going to get into general session in about 6 minutes. Well, actually 5 minutes. So if we want to stop right here, we can.
Mr. Chair, just real quick.
Councilman Shaw.
Just real quickly. Now, VJ, you talked about the salary in the personnel department is at what, 14? You said 14,000. I thought it was at 40,000 that was unencumbered. So that's 40,000 that was unspent, right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
right.
Hello?
Yeah, so like as of the end of January, it's at 14,000 out of 51.
Yeah,
That
so
was,
just make that clear for everybody. So, because, you know, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like 14,000. That was one of my
that was,
comments.
yeah, that
So,
was spent, right? That was
Yeah,
spent.
that's spent.
yeah.
So there's
Okay.
37 remaining.
Okay, so you got 37,000. So with that 6 weeks, what's the math on that for 6 weeks?
Just under 10 grand.
Okay, under 10 grand. So we can bring her on board for 6 weeks for 10 grand. Now, is there a lineup? I thought I saw that in the packet where she should do evaluation of the department and bring a lineup of all the things that needs to be done to that department. So she's going to report back.
Correct.
So I
That
thought,
is
yeah,
correct.
I thought I saw a list of that.
That is correct, Councilman Shaw.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. I know we got to get going.
Okay. And again, not to rush the item, you know, we're gonna be voting on it. It'll be discussion at the motion, so.
Mr. Chair, before
Go
you
ahead,
go,
Councilwoman
Yeah.
Wiley, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
once again, we don't have any problem. Everybody knows we need HR. It's the way it was done. It was presented to us as a fait accompli. We had no knowledge or voice in it. And it's a contract. These are things that are supposed to be voted on by council before they're executed. So that's my only concern with it, is that it was once again done in a fashion that was disrespectful to this body.
Okay, and that's why it's before you tonight, Councilwoman. So, yeah, we apologize, and I think I did it in writing, and I'm saying it publicly. It's not to not include you all. We've been discussing this for some time now as it relates to my assistant being the HR director, and for us needing an HR person. So that's what we're trying to do tonight. So
And as
believe me, it will not happen again.
I prefaced it with, we understand the need, but there's also a process, protocol, procedure that has to be followed too.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we're doing tonight.
That was
All
it.
right. Any other questions, comments? All right, so we're moving forward. So you guys, we have about 2 minutes. You can take this time if you need to take a quick breather before we get right off into it, because I want to start right at the top of the hour. There's a lot to cover. Thank you. All right, that was a quick break. Hey, Mayor Pro Tem Howard, how you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, man. Good to see you. Let me give everybody an opportunity to get their videos back queued up if they have them. All right. I think we're ready to get off into it. Let's see here. Make sure.
Okay.
All right, good then. And Councilwoman Wiley and Councilman Shaw are back in. Councilman Shaw.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, perfect. Councilwoman Wiley, back here. I know she's
Yes,
on there.
sir. I'm
All
here.
right. Perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Inkster City Council. Today is February the 15th, 2021. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you join me as we pledge allegiance to the flag? And after that, we will hear from Pastor John Hearns as he brings us the prayer for today. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. Pastor Hearn, prayer, please.
God of all grace, God of all mercy, and God of all kindness, Lord, we bow before thy presence and in thy sight, acknowledging you as God and God all alone. We pray now, Lord God, that as we go through this meeting on this evening, that you will grant to this body wisdom and knowledge to govern in a manner that will be pleasing and honorable in thy sight. So we ask right now in Jesus' name that you crown them with all of the necessary wisdom and knowledge to go forth and do what is best for every citizen of this community. And we ask, Lord, for your protective covenant to be upon each and every one of them, from the mayor and all the way down to the dog catcher. We pray, Lord God, that you will lead, guide, and protect each and every one of them. This is our prayer in the precious name of Jesus. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that prayer, Pastor Hearn. All right, moving right into it. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Wimberly,
Here, reporting from Inkster City Hall.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Here, in the city of Inkster in my home.
Councilwoman Watley,
Yes, I'm appearing remotely from my home in Inkster, Michigan, County of Wayne.
Councilman Williams,
Here at my home in Inkster, Michigan.
Councilwoman Washington,
Here in my home in the city of Inkster.
Councilman Chisholm,
Reporting from my home, Inkster, Michigan, County of Wayne.
and Councilman Shaw.
Here in Inkster, Michigan.
Mayor, we have 7 present tonight, and we do have a quorum.
All right, moving right along. Approve of the agenda, please.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Been moved and properly supported. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call. I'm sorry, ma'am, go ahead.
The agenda, I was wondering if we should add the letter we received from the Parks and Recs Department to the agenda.
I think the attorney or Chief Riley, you want to speak to that at this point, or what would you like to, okay, let me say that we started an investigation already. I think we can add it to it if you want. It's totally up to this body and what you want to do, but it's already an investigation, as you all are aware.
But that's not what the letter asked. They didn't ask that an investigation be done. They asked that investigation be done by city council. And I think that differs.
Okay. I think, Mr. Mayor,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we did our job when we turned it over to the chief of police. Okay, I don't know where she's coming from. I mean, we're gonna investigate. We're not no law officers.
Okay, so we're talking about the agenda. We got an item that we're talking about adding to the agenda. I just want to make sure that we're in the right protocol to do so. So I have no problem with adding it to the agenda. If that's something that you guys want to do, let's do it. And then we can talk about it then. But I think that if we talk about it, it's something that we possibly open ourselves up for some litigation.
I'm merely stating that a request was made to city council via the letter. Now, we don't have to discuss the investigation per se, but we do have to provide some sort of response to them. Is that not appropriate when you're asked to?
I think it is. All right, so let's do that. Let's add it.
Just a minute.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hold on one second. Councilwoman Wiley had the floor, and I'm okay with doing that. Let's add it to it, and then we go forward. Let's just.
I'm not saying that we investigate right this moment, but we give some sort of response to what we plan to do as a result of their request.
Yeah, and I was just saying that I get you. All right, so let's just add it. Item D.
You got it.
D.
Yeah, let's add it to item D, and then we'll move forward from there. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. All right, any others? Hearing none, roll call. I'm sorry, Councilman Williams?
I'd just like to get a clarification. You said you're adding that issue on the agenda?
Yes, I'm fine with that. We just gonna add it and
Okay,
then,
but you may be fine with it, but the thing about it is, Mr. Mayor,
sir,
okay, just like you said, we can be liable for a whole lot of things. Okay, we done what we supposed to do when we turn it over to the chief of police. Now, when we go any further and start talking and yanging around the communities, you know, number one, I know one of the commissioners sent a letter here asking for some clarification on investigation. And what I done was I replied back to her. That matter is into the hands of the chief of police. Now, it's not fair for us to go out here and start talking about things when in fact we're waiting on the chief's response.
yep. I think the chief has already responded, but at the same time, let's move forward. And then it's an item on the agenda. I'm putting it on the agenda now and we can move forward. So we can talk about it at that point. To your point of clarification, I totally agree. Okay, all right then. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, Councilman Shaw.
Now, just real quickly, we got a new invoice from the city attorney, so I don't know if it's going to be the correct with the under the consent agreement. So you do a consent agenda. So do you want to wait then, or do we do it?
Go ahead. Go ahead, City Clerk.
I have it up. I have the amount that I was gonna call out up under there, and that was
Okay.
amended.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. All right, any other comments, questions as it relates to the agenda? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley. Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
and Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, agenda approved, moving right along. Presentations, none. Public hearing. City Clerk.
Item A is a public hearing, a motion, I guess, to open the public hearing on chapter 91 of the City of Inkster Code of Ordinances, animals.
What's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington. Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howard. Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
and Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas to open the public hearing.
All right, public hearing is open. This brings us to the time of our agenda as we talk about the first reading of this change in our ordinance. If we could, please, Officer Wall, if you can give us just a little bit of background on this, please. Sergeant Wall.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. With the return of the animal control position almost 2 years ago, the ACO and myself recognized the need to bring this ordinance into present day. As you know, many of our ordinances are very antiquated. The animal ordinance is no exception. It was adopted in 1968 with very few changes over the years. This ordinance is being brought to you this evening with the major changes having to do with tethering the animal, providing appropriate food, water, and shelter and conditions for the health, safety, and welfare of the animal. We also cleaned up the language, generalizing the location where tags would be issued from a particular office to the office designated by the mayor, so that if in the future the need to move the licensing again came about, the need wouldn't be there for the ordinance to be reopened. It would be at the mayor's discretion where to place that process. The only other major issue was the deletion of the kennel section that removed kennels from residential areas. Again, we felt this was very antiquated and the need was no longer there from when the ordinance was written in 1968. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer any at this time.
All right, this is a public hearing, so council, be able to answer any questions or make any comments first. This is our first reading of this. We will have a second reading before we actually authorize it. If it, we'll actually make a motion to approve it.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, under section 91.15, dogs running at large. It's got a section in here, duplicate tags in cases of loss may be issued by as designated by the mayor. Now, why is it used to be the clerk. So the clerk is no longer issuing license?
Sergeant Wall, did you go away?
No, I wasn't able to get back unmuted.
Yeah, just stay unmuted until.
Okay. So the licensing has been in several different locations over the years. Previously, it had been located at the rec center. From there, it moved to the clerk's office, and now being at the police department as a centralized police department function, that seemed to make sense. So that's where it's located currently. But if the need in the future, like I said, deems moving it again somewhere else, the language won't need to be revisited. It's already built into the ordinance that's at the mayor's discretion. It can be moved wherever he sees fit.
Okay, because I think if I'm not mistaken, Felicia, can you clarify this? Is it up under one of your revenue, up under the clerk's line item?
Yes, it is up under one of the clerk's line item under dogs tags. And let me just say that I do believe Dawn and I had this conversation that it is better suited over there because of just because of the code enforcement officer that deals with the dogs. He's able to better handle it. We took it from the recreation complex because people were having problems paying with the payment process. So we just they would come to the clerk's office and we would just, have them pay that way. So I do feel that it is better suited over there.
Okay, and let me see, I had another question. I can yield until I find it. Go ahead. If it's somebody else, I yield to my other colleagues.
I have a quick question. 91.17, the application fee and expiration tax. It says that B, where I believe the applicant therefore shall pay, scratched out the city treasurer, a fee to be set by city council resolution. So who would the fee actually be paid to? And then with the city council resolution, will we be coming up with that fee today for the tax?
The fees are included, I believe, in the ordinance. Currently, they stand at $10. There was, one second, let me double check here. I believe there was an increase in the fee schedule submitted with the ordinance. I don't know if the attorneys submitted that or not. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy with me at the moment. I'm sorry, Councilwoman, what was your other question?
That was my question. You answered my first question. You said it's $10, and then that fee would go to who? Because I know they scratched out the city treasurer.
The fee goes. It would be collectible by whatever department was assigned the task of issuing the licenses. My understanding is that the fee goes under the general fund, goes into that line item. I could be wrong on that, but it was overall collected as a general fee.
That's correct. Councilwoman Watson.
I appreciate it.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Howard, did you find your question?
Yes, on page 17 and the 91.55, dog pound supervision. Can you explain that, Don? It's got such dogs pounds should be under the supervision of the mayor or his duly authorized representative. Can you explain that paragraph for me?
9155.
Yes. Under dog pound supervision?
That portion wasn't actually changed. That was standard language when our dog pound was operational. Excuse me, the supervision, whoever essentially is hired as the animal control officer ultimately answers to the mayor of the city through the channels. So that's who his authorized representative would be.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, any others from this body at this time? Okay, City Clerk, this is public participation, correct? All right, so we'll open up the floor to the general public. Councilman Chisholm, if you can give them the instructions if they want to talk during this portion about this item.
This is, we're at public hearing on chapter 91 of the City of Inkster Code of Ordinances, Animals. This is a public hearing. It's open for the public to speak to those matters only at this time. Please use the raise hand feature on your device if you've joined us by video, or if you've dialed in by telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand and be recognized. At the time that you are unmuted, please state your name for the record and state your question. You will have 1 minute to address the body about the ordinance code, the amendment to the ordinance section 91 animals. So again, that's *9 to raise your hand if you joined us by telephone, and or the raise hand feature if you were on by video.
All right, moving right along. Councilman Chisholm, do you see anybody?
I don't see anyone.
All right, then I don't either. All right, then, so we're gonna move right along. If it's any other questions or comments from this body, this is the first reading. We will have it again. It'll be a second reading before we put it to the floor for a motion. Hearing that, I'm gonna ask for a motion to close the public hearing on this item.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
and Councilmember Wiley.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, public hearing closed. All right, moving right along to the next public hearing, please, City Clerk.
This is a motion to open the public hearing on chapter 136.30 of the City of Inkster Code of Ordinances, drug paraphernalia.
So move, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved and properly supported. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
We have 6 yeas, Mr. Mayor.
All right, perfect. Again, this is a public hearing, so what we'll do is we'll take comments, questions from this body, and then we'll go off into discussion from the public. Chief Riley, if you'd like to lead us off, and I see you got Valerie joining you, so I know that she can add if you want her to add anything to it.
Okay. Well, basically, ready?
No, you go ahead, sir. Yes,
Okay. Basically, what we were asking for is to add an exemption to the to our ordinance as the state. Basically, Health and Human Services at times, not only through the state but also through the federal government, will sometimes provide money to organizations that may come into cities and localities to serve those localities or least serve for things such as to deal with drug paraphernalia. What I mean by drug paraphernalia, such as giving out clean needles and things of that nature to underserved population. And the goal of that is, especially now during COVID, is that we've seen an increase in certain, I would say, illnesses related to the use of the constant use of dirty needles and things of that nature. So what the state has already done is modified their language as an exception for drug paraphernalia. And it basically reads like this: for the exception, an object sold are offered for sale or given away by state, local government agency or by person specifically authorized by state or local government agency to prevent the transmission of infectious agents or infectious diseases, things of that nature. And they wanted us to add that to bring our ordinance up to speed with the state. Even though the state law supersedes local law, they're trying to get localities to basically have the same language. And what that does to cause to have no confusion when the state itself and sometimes the federal government comes in and offer funds for those people to help to stop the transmission of infectious diseases and ailments. And I always like to use the thing of getting clean needles, because we know that hepatitis, AIDS, and everything else is transmitted through these through dirty needles. So all we're asking City Council is that to just amend our ordinance to go along to read the same as the state ordinance. I had David Jones look at it, of course, no issue. And we have to go through our process as the clerk advised, second readings and open forum for the public. So that's pretty much where we are, if I can offer any question. Oh, and by the way, it does not take any powers away from any law enforcement agency that if we came upon somebody shooting up heroin illegally, it does not stop the officers from making an arrest or anything of that nature. This is basically for those that get money through Michigan Department of Health and Human Services that provide certain services, and we want to make sure that our ordinance are in line with the state.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Bonner, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I would. First of all, thank you for the consideration and the support that has been given to this issue throughout the last few weeks or months that we've been talking about it. And yes, the Chief Riley was absolutely right. There has been a rise on HIV, Hep C, and other things within Wayne County, City of Inkster included. And so this program would be able to allow something like a mobile unit per se to show up and be able to serve and pass out condoms, for the HIV portion of it, syringes and things of that nature. The participants would have to be enrolled in a specific program to even partake in this particular thing that we're proposing to you. So it wouldn't just be ad hoc and people kind of running amok. It's like a structured program where people will be registered. They will have identification cards and other things to take part in it. And so I just wanted to clear that up also, to say that it is a structured program that individuals would partake in. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bonner, and the work that you're doing in that field is definitely needed. Any questions, comments from Ms. Body?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll have a question. Where would someone sign up to be in this program if they need it? Do we have an address or anything where they can contact you guys? Sign up?
Yes, Councilwoman Howard, once the program is up and running, we will definitely have methods where people can sign up. We will also have ways where they will be able to come on site. I have met with the Inkster Ministerial Alliance on today, and if there was some interest. I know Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church is interested in also being a site where people can come. So we will have a way that individuals can sign up. They will know where they can come on what given day and what supplies. We're even looking at also being able to use mail order. And Brandon Houle from the state of Michigan is on the line with us, also from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Governor Whitmer has sanctioned this program. And Brandon, is there anything that you would like to add to what I'm already saying?
Yeah, hi, this is Brandon from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you for having me on. And no, that's great. We do have a website, michigan.gov/SSP, and that will give a directory of all the programs in Michigan. The program in Inkster would be added to that as well, so people would be able to find that address, phone number online.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much, Brandon, for taking out the time to join us tonight. All right. Any other questions or comments from this body before we open it up to the public? Okay, Councilman Chisholm, give him the rundown again, if you don't mind.
Again, this is a public hearing on chapter 136.30 of the City of Inkster Code of Ordinances, Drug Paraphernalia. This is a public hearing, and at this time, the public has an opportunity to address this body about that subject matter only. If you have dialed in by telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand to be recognized. If you have joined us by video, please use the raise hand feature on your mobile device or computer. You would have 1 minute to address this body about the matters. Please state your name for the record once you are recognized or unmuted. Again, that's *9 from your handset if you've dialed in by telephone, or raise hand feature if you have joined us by video.
Thank you, Councilman Chisholm. All right, again, this is the first reading. We will have a second reading before this is brought to a motion before this body. So it will be on the agenda again next council meeting. You may formulate some questions, actually get information from what you've been provided tonight to be able to come back and ask any questions of this body. And you can also email our city clerk any questions that you may have about this or any concerns. All right, Councilman Chisholm, you see anyone?
Anyone?
All right, I don't either. All right, motion before we close. Any other questions or comments from this body? Are you hearing that motion? I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman Shaw. Yes, sir.
If Brandon can repeat that email one more time, the website one more time for state of Michigan. I don't know, Felicia, you have that on record, right? Okay.
Yeah, but Brandon's here. Brandon, do that for him if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. It's www.michigan.gov/SSP.
SSP. Okay, thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
All right, motion to close public hearing. Is there support?
Support.
Been moved and properly supported in discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please, City Clerk.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
We have 6 yeas, Mr. Mayor.
All right, public hearing is closed. All right, we're moving right along, guys. We got through part of that. Let's go through consent agenda.
So move with the different amount up under Allen Brothers. Felicia?
Yes, and the amount is 30,429.40, which is a 5% reduction.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Watley.
I have some tentative questions, and I'm not sure if they belong in closed session or not. So I'm going to tentatively say yes. Okay, yes.
Okay. Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along, boards and commissions, going around. We're gonna keep on saying this. We have appointments is vacant in the Parks and Rec Department. We know that's a hot topic right now in District Number 1. And
Mr. Mayor, I'm working on my young youth. I should have it by the next meeting, but I need to ask a question. Okay, do they have to do the same thing that these rest of people do, sending a resume and all that to the clerk?
That's a bio.
Just if you're talking about our youth.
Youth.
Yeah, if you're talking about our youth, I think we just bring them up. I think this body, there's somebody on this body want our youth to provide a resume. We're talking a bio of, my daughter, she's 13. She could probably do a bio though herself.
Okay, I'll be ready to make my recommendation at the next meeting. And
for you have an open seat. So you have an open seat, sir. So you will have, you saying your recommendation for your open seat?
I have my recommendation for my open seat.
Okay, perfect.
But now I have my recommendation for my youth also,
Perfect. Good.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, my open seat, I'm working on that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I think the person that I have in mind, I think she's already had, she's been active on several things, but
Okay.
I'll be prepared to put a name in nomination at the next meeting. I'll get
Right.
clerk, does she have to have a bio, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, she should actually fill that. Yep, she should do the application, all that stuff, just like.
Even if they've been on commit,
Well, if she's been on one and I have her information, then she wouldn't be required. She wouldn't have to do that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman Chisholm.
just piggybacking on what Councilman Williams said, I think with the youth and young adults, not that we're trying to vet them like we would do adults, but I think they should at least be introduced to the process, because a lot of times what we fail at doing is we get young people involved with things and we skip over what they need to do as an adult. And then when it's time for them to do it, they give us a lot of pushback as to why do I have to do this? I did it, this long. So I think just to get them acclimated to not only an application process within the city, but just life overall, I think it should be something each council person goes over with their youth from their district, just to show them what the steps are.
I like that. Makes sense. I think it's a general consensus from this body. That's one thing I could say. So yes, that makes sense, Councilman Chisholm. Okay, all right, and Mayor Pro Tem and 5. I ain't trying to put you on the spot.
Well, no, I'm still working on it. No,
Okay.
you're not putting me on the spot. I'm okay.
All
Still
right,
working on it.
All right. All right, and Councilwoman Washington, I did see that did you have an appointment or a reappointment for Zoning Board of Appeals? Did I see that?
I know I have one.
Was that, oh, that was you? Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'd like to reappoint Vanola Williams to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported in the discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
yes.
and Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
And we have 6 yays.
All right, motion carried. Yeah, this is a very important board. We want to get this board back acclimated. Don Jones, our chief building official, is on the line tonight. It's something that we definitely want to get going because it's folks that need to go through this possible process as it relates to businesses within our city. District number 3, James Cross. I don't know if you're out there, you still want to serve, but we need to hear from you unless someone else has already heard from him. Or Councilwoman Wiley, if you're looking to put someone else in that position, let's see what we can do. And then in 4, Roosevelt Stubbs. And 4, Steve, unless you got somebody else you want to put in that position or reach back out to him.
Roosevelt Stubbs is in District 1.
Well, I have him listed over here for Zoning Board of Appeals in District number 4, unless I'm not reading that correct.
He should have been in District 1. I don't know.
Yeah, you got Ruth Williams in District 1.
Yeah, she should be in District 2.
Yeah, she should be.
You have Clarence Oden in District 2 to 2023.
You know what happened? I can speak to that. At the last appointment, they switched when they didn't have all these people volunteering. And so Clarence, I think, stayed in District 2, and I believe Ruthie went to District 1. I guess we could get clarity on that, though, just because I remember it was not a debacle, but it was just some clarity trying to be given for it. Was that the same situation, or is that something different that I'm recalling?
I don't know.
Go ahead, City Clerk, you said something over there?
I'm sorry. Yep, that was the situation in regards to that, Councilmember Chisholm. And so they had asked permission for somebody to be in somebody else's district. If that makes sense. Yeah, because there weren't a lot of people that were volunteering to be on the board.
Okay, we just want to make sure that we're in compliance. So as it relates to what the charter states, as it relates to those positions, because they do have legal authority, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Jones, can you speak to the Zoning Board of Appeals quickly, please?
Well, the zoning board of, good evening, Mayor and Councils, first of all. The zoning boards of appeals are supposed to be the applicant's resorts when they get a negative ruling from either the planning commissioner or the building inspector. They can petition the board for a variance, an exception to the rules. Like in our zoning ordinance, if you wanted to build a garage and it was going to be larger than 444 square feet, you're supposed to petition the zoning boards of appeals for a variance. And I'm quite naturally, when you ride through the city, you see large pole barns that are much larger than that 444 square feet with no record of them petitioning the zoning boards of appeals. And if they want to increase the size of the home, the zoning ordinance permits 30% lot coverage maximum. And you can look around the city and you see quite a few homes that exceed that 30% lot coverage maximum. And when they're going to exceed that requirement, they're required to petition the zoning boards of appeals. And under my authority, I'm supposed to not deny all those requests.
They go to the zoning board of appeals.
Right. Me, I would like to see you reduce the amount of appointees down to 5 members, if possible. Where currently, I think it's about 9 or 11 now. 5 would be more active and we're more likely to get a quorum, only needing 3 people at that time.
Yeah, you have 9 right now. I know it used to be 5 when I served on the zoning board of appeals. Something must have changed. I don't know exactly what. But I think that's something that this body can talk about. Go ahead, City Clerk.
I was just saying, it says for 7 members to be on there, so I don't know how that works.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they got 9. It says 7, but you got 9 members here. That's what it looks like. You got Mac.
I'd like to see it reduced to 5.
Yeah, some people have expired.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, Mr. Mayor, I know he's talking about a reduction, and I know sometimes with those different boards and stuff, we have to honor what state statute says. I guess can we review that, and if the state statute allows for it, we can knock it down to 5. But if not, I know they trump us. Yeah. And I know at least 5 members would be a quorum at all times, but you risk having a quorum if you don't have the full complement.
Yeah, again, going back to the state requirements, that's a local ordinance, your zoning ordinance, so you would have jurisdiction over that.
All right.
Yep. Okay then. And I know that the clerk just said some of those are expired. I know I see those highlighted in districts though, 3, 4, and 5, and then you have people that's outside of those that have not been assigned a district. So
we did, Mr. Mayor, have Roosevelt Stubbs wanted to be reappointed, and then Curtis Varge wanted to be appointed.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we have to go by districts? I guess that's the question for me too.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about with Ruthie and Clarence. As long as the person who council person over that district or represent that district, I should say, approve of the line crossing, it was okay with this body. It was just if you had somebody else, say if I had somebody and Reverend Williams had somebody and I said, no, I want this person for 4, then we will go with 4 versus, but if I didn't, then I would say, okay, yes, I accept.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let's do this then too, just for the sake of this. City Clerk, if you could reach out to, you got Teresa Patton, Mac Willis, and Dorsey Williams that are on here, and they look to expire 8/21, 11/21, and 7/22 for Dorsey. See if they want to be involved, and then we go from there.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think we have anybody from District 1 on that zoning board of appeal, and I would like to get a person to try to sit on that board also.
Well, it looked like you have here on the record, you got Ruthie Williams because of that cross that they did with Clarence. So
Ruth Williams not in my district, so you want.
Hey,
okay.
I'm just listening to what the historic stuff was. So we go.
I ain't getting in no family feud, but let me say this. I want to appoint a person in my district.
Okay. Hey, Go ahead, Steve. I see you. Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, Councilman Williams, we had a conversation about this. You were explaining it to me when we did this initially about that Clarence was into, and because we had a little back and forth really quick. It was directly after a closed session, and then we got clarity on it. I said, okay, I'm fine with it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But when the vacancy come up, I have the right to point someone into that. Okay?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It won't come up to 2022, though.
Huh?
It's not coming up to 2022.
I thought it was 21.
No.
It's like 12, 16, 22.
Okay, well, I'm not for no arguments tonight.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please. Mayor Pro Tem.
And the reason it says 7 members on here because I think that if each district can appoint someone, so it's made it 6. So it's made it 6, which would be even. So that's probably why they added their 7 members.
Yeah.
That's that 7th one. Because if they go in by districts, we have 6 districts. So that's
Correct.
probably why they had the 7 members there to break the tie.
Yeah, for sure. Probably just needed an alternate. I get it. But you do have, again, you had those people that's outside of the districts as well. So let's check on those people and then see what we can do from there because we want to get this board active. Mr. Jones, I see your hand raised. Did you have something else to add?
Yeah, I was going to look back to the 7 members on the board. So you got each council person could have 1 member from each district, and you could have appointment as the mayor. I'm supposed to be ex facto to the board because I'm gonna be the person that denies them and have to bring the case to the board. So I can't see why I should be sitting on the board if I got to bring the cases. And that also brings up the requirement for the clerical staff. That is it going to be my staff out of the building department office keeping the minutes for the meetings, or we're going to have a separate secretary? Is my staff going to be compensated for the overtime for those meetings at night and things of that nature?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great question. At the same time, I think that you're going to have to be there presenting the case, and then we'll figure out how we go along from there, because I know that right now, Caitlin Hines and Tracy Jennings are handling most of those meetings after hours. So we'll figure out how we work it out. Okay.
Yes, okay.
All right, then. Any others? And I know you said Curtis Barge wanted to be appointed, but I don't see how we would do that unless.
Because she in District 2. So my suggestion is for me to speak with Clarence Oden and see, what his plans is, if he want to continue, and then get rid of Curtis Dean. Ruth Williams is, as I can remember, me and Councilman Williams talking about it, that Ruth Williams is going to stay in District 1. She lives in District 2. So that's just a conversation that me and Councilman Williams would have to have.
Yeah, as long as we doing it right by state statute, that's the main thing.
I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah, as long as we doing it right by state statute, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
I ain't got no problem with it.
Okay.
And as long as we doing it right by state statute, that's the main thing for us.
That's right. I just don't want nobody hit me back with no conflict of interest. That's all.
All right, perfect. All right, Mr. Jones, we all set? So you still got your hand up?
All right, no, I'm all set.
All right, thank you, sir. Any others? All right, moving right along. Previous business, City Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, did you want me to remove these all separately as they are?
No, we tabled them all together. If someone will make a motion to untable them or keep them on the table, whatever you guys want to do at this point.
I so move.
Their support.
Support.
Is there any discussion on this? Removing those from the table?
Just, Mr. Chair, if you can get Ms. Jennings again to go over what we went over for the public sake in orientation.
Yeah, for sure. Come on, Ms. Jennings.
Good evening. As it relates to all outstanding monies owed by the applicants for land sales, as of today, all monies have been remitted to the city of Inkster, and there are no outstanding monies owed by the applicants, as well as it relates to So LLC / Sean Wimberly. He has applied for inspections for his homes through the code enforcement department as well.
That's actually through the building department, but code
Building
enforcement
department.
do the violations for sure.
My apologies.
No worries. Okay. All right. So a motion's on the floor. Roll call, please, City Clerk.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
This is to take it off the table, right? Take it
Yes.
off.
Yes. All three, all the tabled items, yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yeah.
We have 6 yeas, Mr. Mayor, to remove the items from the table.
All right, then previous business, if you could please, item A.
Item A under previous business is consideration and approval of one offer to purchase 2 vacant adjacent lots located on the north side of Cherry Street between Ash Street and Walnut Street, as duly noted, in the amount of $2,000 to Sean Wimberly, SEW LLC.
What's your pleasure? It's been moved. Is there support? Been moved and properly supported. Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman Chisholm.
Just because I know in the future we'll probably go down this again, and we need some type of clarity, you know, as well as on the process when or if this ever were to occur again. I know last week we tabled this due to back taxes being owed or in default, if you will, to the city per the city charter. It was just told to us at this meeting that those issues have been resolved and rectified. Now, we did get checklists in our pack, well, not in our packets, but an additional email prior to the meeting beginning. Some of us have had an opportunity to review the checklist, and others haven't because it was rush hour, people on their way home from work and things of that nature. Now, I had an opportunity to review the checklist itself, but as far as the questions that were raised at the last council meeting, until tonight, we weren't told that everything had been resolved, which is fine, but we don't have any documentation ourselves to really look at. And I was thinking about that after, even though when we asked the orientation. So I know you had said that Tracy could get that to us after the fact, but so with that, I would like some type of clarity going forward in the future for any land sales or things of that nature. And then 2, do we vote on this in a contingency basis and, you know, saying yes, and then Tracy gets us the emails and the receipts, but then in the event that she gets it to us and we say, well, this isn't what we actually were thinking about or had our mind wrapped around, would it be denied then? Because I don't want to hold somebody up and it's just we don't have the proof before us, but I also don't want to vote on something and then later down the line, a week from now, we say, hey, this isn't what we were talking about in the meeting.
Yeah, I think that's a question for the attorney.
Okay. Mr. Attorney Jones, and I see Mr. Don Jones has his hand raised as well, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead. Is his hand still raised for the last time or did he re-raise it?
No, I re-raised it.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Jones.
My concern was that we've had some previous property sales and the property may be in this district and zone for this. And then the owner wants to do something that wasn't permitted in that zoning district now. And that creates a problem for me. So I wanted to make sure that the mayor and council lets them know what's permitted in that zoning district, so I won't have a problem down the line with them trying to change from the permitted use or permitted land use for that district. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll make sure that we include that as well on all land sales from here on out. But go ahead, Mr. Jones, can you talk about that? Because I know we've done this before. This is nothing that as relates to contingencies, but go ahead.
So just if I could repeat your question, Councilmember Chisholm, you're saying, can you agree to pass on the resolution contingent upon the items being satisfied pursuant to the administration's check on outstanding fees and taxes? Is that what you're asking?
That's correct.
Yes, she can do that. I thought at the last meeting, one of the issues or items discussed was a checklist that comes before or included in the packet that these things have been checked by the administration. I think Pro Tem Howard mentioned that in the past, and I think maybe Member Shaw, that there was a checklist that these things were done prior to it even being on the agenda. So I thought that's where you were going, but if I'm not mistaken, Tracy indicated that those matters have been rectified. But you certainly can, pass on or vote on the agenda subject to, satisfaction to the body that those outstanding items have been rectified.
Thank you. And really that helps for the simple fact that when I have residents challenging me, whether it's at the church, at the store, in my driveway, at the gas station, on anything that we vote on, as long as I've laid my eyes on it and interpreted it correctly, and I can definitively stand my ground on how this body voted, I'm good. But it's when I have an uncertainty and say, well, I didn't see it for myself, so I don't know. Now I have a back and forth with how at least how I voted in regards to conveying it to the citizens. And it's just easier for me that way to say, no, I looked at it myself. I saw X, Y, and Z, and then they're satisfied because they wanted to, people want a definitive answer. They don't want to, well, I trust, well, I'm not going to say it in that context, but just say I trusted the information that they gave me verbally, because that's not how we work is off, off verbal stuff. So that satisfies my question. If I can vote off a contingency based upon what we're going to get, then I'm satisfied.
I think it might be efficient to go back to the past practice of the checklist that Member Pro Tem Howard and Shaw have some familiarity with. And that way, the checklist perhaps could be in your packets prior to it being placed on being acted on the agenda. That makes sense to me.
Because we did get the checklist this evening. I know, like the mayor said, she was working on the things up until this meeting started, but when we're in transition and stuff like that, I mean, like me or Councilwoman Washington, if we're driving back from Lansing, the orientation starts at 6. I didn't have an opportunity to review it in between leaving the Capitol at 4 and making it back to 6. I know Mayor Pro Tem Howard got on at a certain time because she was leaving work and so on and so forth. So that checklist prior, ahead of time, then if there's any discrepancies, further proof beyond reasonable doubt would certainly satisfy my request.
Okay, will it be certified though, if I go ahead on and say that as long as they show you this list, that you're certified? Okay, what I'm saying is, number one, okay, now Tracy brought this information back, okay? Okay, and she have indicated that it's paid for now. Okay, so what is it? If she's got the documentation that has been paid for, then why are we sitting here prolonging talking about we don't trust her or something?
I didn't say I don't trust her. I did not implicate that at all. I asked for proof beyond reasonable doubt. I said going forward, just because how concerns were raised at the last council meeting and just talking about the process. I mean, like I said, again, we got the checklist an hour and a half to 2 hours before the meeting started. I had an opportunity to review the checklist, but I can't speak for all of my colleagues. So I'm just asking for a little bit more clarity going forward. So when these types of issues come up, and all of these citizens right now, we got 58 people in the room, plus those on Facebook. I can at least have a definitive answer when I'm out in the public and I'm speaking to them about matters that were raised. That's all. But I'm not going to hold the process up. I'm just asking, can I vote based off of contingency? Because she did get the checklist, but further information.
No, I'm just
Mr. Chair.
No,
I want some clarification.
let's have order. So we did have Councilman Chisholm, and then Councilman Williams was speaking. So go ahead and finish. If you're finished, Councilman Chisholm, let's have Councilman Williams, and then we can go to Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I would just say then for me, the contingency that could be satisfied would be if Tracy just sent us a copy of the receipts after tonight's meeting or something like that, or something down in the future, or if she just took a screenshot off the computer on the city's records being updated and say, here you go.
Okay, I add that to the motion.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure too, and I think Attorney Jones would chime with this, that we do every applicant this way.
That's
we had a lot of land sales before to last week. And we're talking about a checklist, and I get it. I just want to make sure that, we're doing everybody the same way.
That's fine with me.
I ain't got no problem with it. I want to add that part on there. That's good. Tracy can get the checklist to him.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howard, you have something to add?
Okay, I just wanted to ask a question. If was the funds paid today? Because I haven't seen it. Was the funds paid today? And if they were back taxes or current taxes that they just didn't pay? Because if it was back taxes, if the taxes ever went down to the county was closed today. So, and once the taxes goes down to the county, we can't accept a check for them. So what,
Yeah.
I mean, what,
I think this is stuff that's owed to the city. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
okay, because I didn't know if it was past taxes. Because I know we just got an email Sunday in regards to one of the applicants. And we still I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't trust anybody, but after it came up to us 2 weeks ago and it was notified that they did owe something. So obviously somebody missed something. So I think for me to vote tonight, I would have to have that in my hand. I mean, I can't vote on something tonight when it was just given to us and I haven't even seen it because I'm coming in from work. So, and we had 2 weeks to do this. And for us to get an email right before the meeting, I think that's sloppy to me. So, I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean, that's not with any other council people, that's my thoughts. And for me to vote on this, it would have to be something that was given to us prior to the meeting. I can't vote on anything that was given to me that I haven't seen. So that's me. But I yield the floor to someone else.
All right.
I would like, I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Washington first and then Councilman Williams. Go ahead, Councilman Washington.
I would kind of just like to echo what Councilman Chisholm stated, that we didn't receive that email to 506. And some of us do have second jobs and jobs where we do work 9 to 5. So going forward, I would like for the checklist to kind of be given to us a little bit earlier before we actually vote, to be able to make a legitimate decision going forward with whatever we.
Okay, Councilman Williams.
Hey, I commend everybody who's talking about the checklist.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Because before I got on this council, I could show you a lot of land that was sold to people that had back taxes and various other things. And that's kind of funny. And I'm glad that we're getting down to the point where people, when they buy property, making sure that it's up to date and they don't owe no back taxes on it. I think that's beautiful. Okay, I'm glad.
It's just Wimberly's name on it. Let me just make sure we clear on that. We could say whatever we want to say. At the end of the day, we've sold a lot of property here in the city of Inkster since I've been
and then the taxes on some of them.
So yeah, and just for clarification, as it relates to Sean Wimberly, his taxes were actually current with the city. His taxes were due on February 15th, which is today. And he had an outstanding water bill from an NSP property that he bought from the city of Inkster back in November, where he hasn't even had a person in the property. So his taxes at the county, and let's just be clear, if he had taxes at the county, we've already been paid for those monies here in the city. And then the county, he actually has a payment plan with the county. So that doesn't have anything to do with anything. He actually owes the city of Inkster. So if the city of Inkster is clear, and that's what the past practice has been, and that's what we're going to do moving forward. And we're just going to make sure that we do everybody the same way. That's all. And I get it. I get the checklist. We're on top of it.
Mr. Chair, I'm just saying, I don't care whose name is on it. We have done this in the past. We have looked at, from my standpoint, we have looked at the good standing letter. Now it talks about those. Yeah, it talks about those things that the person, is not owing anything to the city. So, I wouldn't care whose name is on it. As long as they don't owe anything to the city, as long as we do our checks and balances before it comes to the council body, where that these persons, you know, don't owe anything to the city, it should be fine. I mean, that's we're not in the business of holding land. We're in the business of getting land off our hands so we can get them back on the tax roll. As long as we in order in that fashion, I mean, I don't see that there should be any problems. We have had it, myself, Mayor Pro Tem Howard, we had that checklist in the past. It helped, but also the good standing letter helps as well. So if we need it, let's do it, and then we can move forward. It doesn't matter whose name is on it for me. As long as they don't owe anything, according to the charter, to the city of Inkster, we should be able to move forward. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, totally agree.
You know,
All right, then.
and I'm gonna let it alone because you got a lot of people in this city have brought properties, and that's one of the concerns that we have. I'm glad that Councilman Chisholm brought it up tonight. It's a concern that I have that a lot of people have bought property in Inkster and behind in taxes, water bills, and everything, but yet they still own all this property, and a lot of it still boarded up and need to be dealt with. Okay, so we know that, and I'm glad that we agree, and I'm hoping that become policy. It's supposed to be policy that we have, and I hope that that's from now on when they come forward that we did our due diligence in checking all of the properties on everybody.
Yep. Believe me, we will.
Okay. All right.
All right, then the motion is on the floor with the adjustment to the motion. Councilman Williams is made. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
No.
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
No.
Mayor, we have 4 yeas and 2 nays.
All right, motion carries. Move along. Item B.
Item B is consideration and approval of the offer to purchase 3 vacant adjacent lots located on the north side of Cherry Street and Ash Street and Walnut Street and legally described as duly noted in the amount of $2,500 to Sean Wimberly and SCW LLC.
What's your pleasure?
So move.
With the contingency like we did the first one.
Support.
With contingency. I'll make sure I put it in.
I was waiting on it.
Okay. All right.
All right, any discussion outside of that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
No.
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
No.
and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
We have 4 yeas and 2 nays, Mr. Mayor.
All right, motion carries. Item C.
Item C is consideration and approval of one offer to purchase 6 vacant adjacent lots located on the north side of Cherry Street between Ash and Walnut Street, which are legally described as duly noted in the amount of $3,500 to Sean Wimberly, SCW LLC, with the contingency.
All right, contingency. So what's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chair.
There's support?
Support.
All right. Quick discussion as it relates to, it just seemed like it's a whole lot of talking about a whole lot of properties. These actual properties are kind of small and actually make into one size lot where Mr. Wimberly is going to be using for his construction business to put an actual warehouse in that area because that is the M1. All right. Any other?
Wait,
No,
M1?
No, it's not
That's not
M1.
M1?
That's
No.
not M1.
No.
That's residential. It's
That's
R1B.
residential.
R1B.
All of
Okay.
it's residential.
Okay, I thought they redid that.
No, and that's what, I think that's, Mr. Chair, I think that's what the, Mr. Jones was saying.
Okay.
That we need to make it, that's residential, so it should stay residential. And that's what he was saying, that when we approve something and then it'll come down to him, they want to change it. But all of that property is residential.
Okay. Perfect. Moving right along. Is We already made a motion, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Watley,
No.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
No.
Councilmember Chisholm,
No.
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Mayor, you have 4 yeas and 2 nays.
All right, motion carries. Item D with the contingency.
Okay, item D is consideration and approval of one offer to purchase 3 vacant adjacent lots located on the south side of Penn between John Daly and Bayhand Street, which are legally described as duly noted in the amount of $750 to Patricia Hicks.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had a question. Is this with the contingency as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
No.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Howard, Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Oh, no.
and Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
and Councilmember Washington.
I believe I voted already, did I?
We got Watley.
Yep, I got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, she voted already.
Okay, I have 4 yeas and 2 nays.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along. Let's see here. All right, what you got? Item 8. What are we doing? You just reading it in?
Yes. Item A is consideration and approval to recognize City of Angels Foundation as a nonprofit organization within the City of Inkster for qualifications for temporary charitable gaming license to host a nationwide online fundraising raffle.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Your support? Is there support?
Support.
Discussion?
Yes.
City Clerk, just for the general public, if you could just give us a quick for the general public, and then Councilman Williams.
Sure, this is a quick overview. This is a kind of a standard practice. The City of Angels has to be recognized by the local body municipality as a nonprofit when they want to do a charitable gaming license. And so this process takes care of that component. I think the City of Angels is doing a raffle so that there are some local residents and other children that can attend a trip in Africa, in Tanzania, Africa. And the applicant is on the line if they needed to speak to it any further.
All right, Councilman Williams.
I just want to say, I know that's the way the state operates when it comes down to charitable gaming, or as raffles and various things like that. You have to go to the city. And what we're saying, we're recognizing that this nonprofit is a nonprofit, and they are in good standings, okay? I happen to don't know personally Mr. John, but I do know he's doing great work in the community and his organization. So I feel that, you know, they're trying to raise money to do that. You know, I think we should support them, okay? And one thing he have to do when he put his paperwork in for the charitable game, he have to also put a copy of his 501c3 various stuff through the state to make sure that he's legal.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Item B.
Item B is consideration of the 2021 poverty exemption application utilized for the Board of Review.
So
All
moved.
right. Is there support?
Support.
Been moved and properly supported. Any discussion?
I had one.
Go ahead, Councilman Williams.
No, I'm just, what puzzles me is about, and then I guess we're trying to keep it at a level, so but then, you know, you might have some people in here that don't have anything, you know. And so I was just wondering at our rate, what we're saying, they have to come up with at least 50%.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, and if we could, Mario, if you could just speak to it very quickly. I know we had a presentation on it. Just what this is and what's happening here. Can we unmute him?
There you go.
You muted back yourself, Mario. I know this is your first time on Zoom, but there you go. All right, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. So basically, the State Tax Commission recently changed the poverty tax exemption criteria by lowering the threshold needed to qualify for a partial exemption, whereas previously this was calculated as a percentage of income plus the homestead credit. It is now determined directly by income levels. Each city has to choose which percentage to adopt, anywhere from 25 to 100% reduction in taxable value for those who meet the qualifications. The city of Inkster is proposing a 50% reduction for those households which qualify. This is in alignment with surrounding communities and was also the recommendation that WCA provided to all their clients.
okay, I just like to know, suppose it's a family that got a hardship. Okay. I mean, why didn't we put language in there saying this family really had a hardship, it'd be 25%. Okay, instead of just holding guns for 50%. Okay. And I know that the city needs money and we need money, but things about it, you know, there are some people that really have, this eats my guts up to know that there are people in our community that really lose everything they have, okay, only because they fall into hardship. Now, so why we don't have any language to that effect, about a real hardship, but we know that if there's, what you're doing, you put in the guidelines, the amount of money people that receive, you putting a guideline on them. But what about if, in fact, we run into a person that's been in our community for years and years and actually run into a hardship?
Well, if they run into a hardship, they would qualify under the poverty guidelines and they would receive a 50% reduction in tax. I don't know if I answered your question or not. Could you be a little bit more specific if you don't mind?
Okay, let me give you more specific. Okay, say Miss Felicia, Mr. Patrick, and all of them are low income. Okay, they fall into the 50% range. Okay, so that means that their taxes are cut 50%. Am I correct?
Yes.
What about a hardship case? Okay, what I'm saying is,
Mario, basically, if we find that a person can't afford that, could we possibly go up to 75 or even 100% exemption?
Short answer, no, because the state in its legislation, it specifically says that the Board of Review cannot deviate from this new criteria, basically. And in the past, the Board of Review did have the authorization to deviate due to certain circumstances, but in the legislation it specifically states that it's the set amount that will be approved by each municipality. It's just a straightforward reduction. Whether they qualify, they would get the 50%. It's just straight across the board.
okay. So you trying to say, okay, Mr. Mayor. Okay,
yes,
I'm telling you, I'm not.
I mean, do you want to go up to 100% on the reduction? Is that what you're asking for, or 75% on the reduction?
No.
We're saying 50% like our neighbors around us, and then actually talking with VJ and looking at the numbers. 50% reduction would be, fitting.
Some might not be capable, to be able to pay 50% of their tax.
And then that's, we look for help.
What I'm saying is we have nothing put in place, and I do know, and I do know there are cities right now, Detroit, prime example, okay, hardship cases. Stepping in, they put in for hardship and various stuff like that. They're being compensated, and able to keep their home for a certain period of time, So what I'm saying is, if you come in, okay, well, our stipulation is, okay, our stipulation is 50%. And we ain't going no lower than that. We ain't doing nothing like this, okay? I don't buy it, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, I know he's getting all his work, but then I like to talk to somebody since I know I got big guns up in the state of Michigan. I'd like to get more clarity on it, and so I'll be contacting to get more clarity on it. So I wish we would table it until we can get some more clarification from the state. But right now, I just can't go along with that. And I know that people in Detroit, houses are being saved and various things like that. Money is being put in their renovation, helping people do various things in the city of Detroit. But no, not in Inkster.
Councilman, if I could please, this is a state mandate. So we're gonna have to pick 25%, 50%, 75, or 100. Detroit is a totally different entity than the city of Inkster. As you know, the city of Detroit get direct funds from the state and the federal government. We fall into counties, or we're under the Wayne County's jurisdiction for funding coming directly to us to help with those things that you want to offset.
Okay, so
with the city of Detroit, it's a different animal, so you can't compare us. That's
okay.
We have to make a decision like our neighbors have done already.
That's true. I might can't, but if they got standard guidelines, where they at?
You said the state guidelines? They're in your packet.
Yeah, I seen what's in the packet, but that was just something they was governing, but it wasn't that we had to be sticking to that certain period of thing, one or the other.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit out of my field here, man. Mario, can you speak to that, please?
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of his question.
Is it, do we have to do this? Is there anything else we can do to petition the state to ask them to add any other language, or is this something that we have to do?
This is something we have to do without approval. Low-income households would not be able to apply for poverty until this is approved.
And when is the next hearing? Mario, when is the next hearing? Is it March?
Oh, the next hearing is March, and then we also have July and December.
Okay. Well, there is a motion on the floor. We've had discussion. Let's call for roll call, please. Call for the question. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard?
Yes.
Councilmember Watley?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
No.
Councilmember Washington? Councilmember Washington?
My apologies. Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm?
Yes.
And Councilmember Shaw?
Yes.
Mayor, we have 5 yays.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along, item C.
Item C is consideration and approval of a temporary agreement with Emory HR LLC for 6 weeks of human resources help.
All right, VJ, if you'd like to speak to that, please.
Yep. So the city of Inkster is looking to bring aboard Sue Justice from Emory HR to help with day-to-day HR responsibilities and also to help with open HR considerations with stretch back a couple of years. So just very quickly about Sue, and I can let her speak for herself, but she has over 28 years of progressive experience in the HR field. She founded her own company as a consulting company, and she has just a very strong handle on HR items, and she's able to come in and fix issues that may lie within HR departments, and she's able to also instill policies and procedures and help create efficiencies. And so these are things that we're hoping to accomplish with Sue coming in. The plan is to have Sue come in to the office 3 days a week and work remotely for 2 days a week. The cost would be $16.50 per week. Our intention is to have a 6-week contract and then reassess at that time what's best for all parties. There is a lengthy scope of services that Sue has written out that's in your packet. And then a couple months ago, I believe you saw Sue's initial discovery. So she's familiar with the current situation of the city's HR department. So what we are asking for is for City Council to consider approving this contract with Sue for 6 weeks.
Or is there a motion to support that? Am I getting lost? Did we already do a motion? I'm sorry. Do we have a motion?
Nope, no one made the motion.
Have a motion to support that?
Support. We so moved.
Okay, so moved, it's been probably moved and supported. Okay, discussion. I know you have questions.
Mr. Mayor, who moved that?
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Support.
Okay. And who supported? I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
I support.
Okay.
Sean support.
Thank you.
Okay, so I know you have, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem, question?
Okay, yes, I do have a couple of questions. In relations to hiring someone, I know you guys did post for the job. And how many applicants did you guys receive back?
We still have it open.
You still have it open?
Yeah, we only have 2 so far.
Okay.
And one is Mr. Fred Hill, who used to be our risk manager here in the city of Inkster. I did forward you guys that information. I'm asking for you to look at it and then confer and give me your questions and answers back or whatever what you think, so we can have Sue interview him along with us.
What about any other candidate that would be interviewed as well?
If they qualify.
Right.
For the money, I mean, we're really, it's 48,000. We haven't really been able to get any talent at that level.
Right. But I thought you said it was budgeted at 51 though.
Well, 51.
Yeah, 51.
48 to 51.
Right. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that we do this in a timely fashion, because even though she is good on paper, and I know she will be able to help us out a lot, but at the same time, I don't want to be messing around paying, and we still got to bring somebody on board, and then she have to bring them up to speed. That's going to cost that line item is going to go way over budget.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Believe me, we're definitely watching all of that. But we will have to have someone, basically train the next person coming in as we work to do that and make sure we're not dropping and having any gaps in between. As VJ mentioned earlier, we have outstanding issues going back for almost 2 years as it relates to HR.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had people in here since this administration that was working on a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I don't want to go backwards. I mean, the whole organization probably got stuff going on that somebody didn't do. So, I don't want to blame anybody. I don't want to put, because we found something. Somebody gonna always find something when another person come in to do some work that somebody didn't do. But I just want to make sure that this time we're going to get somebody that's qualified to do the job and then move on to the next, because there seems to be a gap in exiting and hiring. And it's kind of alarming And also too, you know, we started off with this administration, we basically have a whole new crew in here. So I know a lot of stuff is being missed because somebody may not have known or somebody didn't leave something. And it's kind of a lot.
That's not the case.
Well, I mean, it showed. I mean, you know, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that right now we have an organization that have basically new people in key positions.
Yes, for sure.
Stuff is probably going to fall. I mean, it happened 2 weeks ago, you know, about the property sale. I mean, that's okay. But what I'm saying is that we really, really gotta get people that, you know, to come in and understand. And I'm glad that she will be on board, that she can help the next person just come in and jump in. But that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem. Anybody else, any comments, questions? Go ahead, Councilman Chisholm.
Just because I had sent an email weeks ago and I asked in my email, where was the HR position posted at? And this was after a council meeting. It was stated that the job had been posted. I did not see it on Indeed.com. I did not see it on the city website. Within about a week, it magically appeared on the city's website, February 1st at 12:01 a.m. It said that it was open for 8 days. And so I'm just curious, at this particular time, what all sites is it posted on? Because there's a multitude of free options to post out there. The treasurer, I think, may have stated at one point in time or something, and that mean it wasn't, you know, enough funds because some of the sites you have to pay for. But we have a multitude of resources at our fingertips that I know everybody's not always forward thinking or know to tap into. So I'm just curious. And I mean, I can make some suggestions if it's not that many where it's posted, but I don't want my suggestions and recommendations to continue to be ignored. So can someone please tell me where this HR job is posted at?
Yeah, I got to speak to that, but I don't, you know, and not to go backwards, but if you have any suggestions, then you can call me directly or you can send me an email directly. You know, I know you put a lot of stuff and say colleagues, you don't necessarily address me as the mayor. So if you have some questions or comments or concerns as it relates to what's happening in this administration, please direct them directly to me as I've asked you to do in previous times. I have no problem with answering or listening to what you're saying or suggesting. So you said it's a multitude of things. Please matter of fact, email us right now so we can make sure that we put those things up everywhere as it relates to the HR position.
So if I don't send an email addressing you as mayor, you're not going to respond to it. That's what you're telling me.
No, I didn't say that necessarily.
Just said I send emails and I don't say mayor. I say,
I don't know who you're talking to. You say colleagues.
Okay.
Are you on the email chain?
Yes, he is.
At the same time, I don't know who he's talking to.
Whoever's in charge of it at that particular time. I send mass emails so everybody's on the same page, because if I call you and then I have to call the rest of my colleagues and tell them what I'm thinking or something, it's not a waste of time, but it's time consuming. So therefore, I address everybody as colleagues because you are my colleagues. We're all elected to positions and I'm going to move forward. Can I be told where the jobs are posted at?
Yeah, so the job will actually posted on the city's website and on Indeed as well.
Okay, well, for the record, I'm going to also say if MML has a free option to post it on there, if LinkedIn has a free option to post it on there, if Facebook has a free option to post it on there, if Twitter, if Instagram, any social media and free options that we have, those are things that we should be looking into utilizing and saying that we only got it posted on 2 things. And I'm not faulting anybody, but those are options that are at our fingertips to use on a daily basis that we use in this digital platform right now.
Yeah, perfect. And you just let me know. So please send those to me and I'll make sure they get up there.
Sure will.
Because we're all working together as a team.
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, Councilwoman Washington.
Just a suggestion. Kind of what Councilman Chisholm was saying about MML. MML is a really great place that we could actually as well get some assistance with trying to find someone and also posting that that job because it is free to the city. So it's just a suggestion. So that's all.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. MML is a subscription that the city actually pays to be a part of, so it's not necessarily free, but we definitely make sure we get that up there. No problem. And any other suggestions we'll take.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Councilwoman Wiley.
Yeah, this is more of a question I guess David Jones needs to answer in reference to this contract. Since it's already been executed and signed, if it should happen to fail tonight, what are our liabilities?
Well, she has not started any work as of yet, unless, that's information unbeknownst to me. So, Mr. Mayor, is that correct?
That's
She hasn't
correct.
performed services.
Yeah, yep.
It's my hope that I can have a conversation with Sue after tonight to discuss a couple of items that were raised at tonight's meeting, if that's possible.
So we're not facing any type of liabilities, having
No.
already offered anything, and then we go back and not do it. Okay, that was my question.
All right, so there is a motion on the floor. Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chair, just a quick comment that as we looking at dollars here in our, to VJ, I don't know if you're looking at I'm sure you are, with the French benefits. I mean, because if we're going to go with the contractor, those French benefits, we don't have to pay, and we can be looking at those dollars extra, right?
Right. Yeah, so I mean, when I mentioned that we're using the salaries line of the personnel department, sorry, I'm probably going deeper into detail than needed here. That line, just the salaries line, is enough for us to cover this because it's so low during this fiscal year. And that doesn't even include the other consideration you're talking about, sick pay, Social Security, group insurance, health, any sort of health insurance, unemployment, all of those items, workers' comp. Those are all things we don't necessarily have to consider, including, I mean, even going beyond that, education, training, subscriptions, memberships. Those are all items that we won't have to pay with having Sue aboard.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley,
No.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yeah. Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
No.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 4 yeas and 2 nays.
All right, motion carries. Item D.
I'm gonna read this, and if somebody needs to chime in, but what I have is consideration and approval to receive the Parks and Recreation Commission formal letter to mayor and city council. So I don't know if somebody else needs to make an motion to add something additional to that, or.
I make a motion that we accept it as is. And
I second.
Okay, any discussion?
I was just, yes, Mr. Mayor. I know there was in orientation some discussion and some confusion on it. And it wasn't, I don't think necessarily for us to vote on, because it's merely a commission who they send recommendations or requests and things like that to council, and they were doing what they felt was right. And I think they really wanted to just kind of put it on our radar for us to look into it more and or invoke it. Section 7.7 of the city charter says that council has the right to invoke an investigation on any matters in the municipality, regardless if it's the police department or whoever. Now, I know Councilman Williams said we had turned it over to the police department. Well, who is we? We never formally made a vote on this council to say that the police should investigate it. You had told us at the last meeting that an investigation had taken place and you and the chief had done it. And then you came up with a determination. And then I guess some more information came out, and more emails and whatnot came out about an investigation either continuing or being open or something. So there's a lot of confusion. I know people say don't speak to different things because there's rumors in the community, there's rumors on social media, then we get here in the meeting and we're trying to get clarity on it. So again, regardless of the fact, if the police are investigating, cool. But the Parks and Recs Commission was just asking us to do some additional stuff or to take it out of the police department's hand or the city's hand altogether and have an outside entity do it. Again, I don't know if everybody's interpretation of section 7.7 is clear. I would advise everybody to read it and really digest it. And again, I don't know what the confusion was, because it was a simple request from them, not a demand, because we have the last say so. And that's all I have.
Okay. Does
Mr.
anybody
Chair,
else? Yes, go ahead.
I know a lot of information that is out that's not privy to some members. And I think that maybe we should be abreast of what's going on, what happened. And maybe the chief can do that. And maybe he can address the commissioners. I'm not sure if they privy to a lot of information more than what we are, but there's still a lot of unclarity of what really happened. So, and I know we don't get into that, but like the charter says, if something is not right, then we do have the obligation, we do have the ability to get outside investigators if that's what the bodies choose. So I think that what he's saying is maybe he bring us up to abreast of what's going on. And then we maybe can share some information, not everything, because I know some things is private. And just let them know that, okay, it's being taken care of. They're doing their job, this, that. I think that's what's going on. So I'm not sure if he wants to come in closed session and say what he needs to say to us, and then we can form an opinion, and then we can come out and say, hey, you know, this has been done, it hasn't been done, so forth, to put it at rest.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on. But I do know previously, on previous things, I don't think we've ever had something like this. So, but on other things, they just, you know, the police officers do their job, and they just inform us of what's going on in closed session, and you know, and then we okay with that. But I think that should be something that he should do, and then that way the council can form their own opinion as to what they need to do next.
Yep, I agree with that.
How do you how to raise my hand?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilman Williams. I think Mayor Pro Tem was done. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm done.
Let me sit up and say that we didn't know, that we wasn't informed about it or whatever like that. Now, I heard that part, okay? And you know, that's far from the truth, okay? Now, the mayor did come to us. First of all, there's protocols, okay? When he come to us, okay, he addressed us about the whole issue. And I'm not gonna get off into detail, okay? And where it should lie until the second point come was when he said that the chief of police is in the hands of the chief of police and he's investigating it, okay? Now, I personally sent a letter to Connie Mitchell, okay, who was the person who addressed one of the investigation. I told her that it was already being investigated by the chief of police, okay? And very careful, because we have to be careful about what we say, you know, and we can't prejudge anything, okay? So I'm sitting back, and I think we all was sitting back, should be waiting on whatever the chief got to say about it, okay? Now that's the way we should live it. But we won't open up now. I think David on the line, he can probably, you know, sometimes we go out here and say, oh, we're gonna investigate this, investigate that, and we can cause ourselves a lot more trouble. And I'm just saying, we'll address commissioners or the public whenever the fact we hear from the chief of police. Then the council can address the mayor and the chief and the public. Okay, you can't go out here and address them without all of it in the basket. Can't just take half of it in the basket and then put it out in the community, because it's gonna cause a bunch of confusion. That's what it's gonna cause. So let's let the chief do his job. When the chief come back, and then if the mayor or council want to address people, we're ready to address them. We got all full facts. Because the truth of the matter is right now, we all go around and none of us got no facts, got no true facts about nothing. Only thing we go by what we hear. So I think we should allow him to continue his investigation. I ain't saying take no year, no month, 5 months, and like that, but he should investigate it and come back, okay?
So we still have closed session tonight, so we could have the chief come in and talk about the matter.
Well, that
relates to the complex and Necklace Legion.
They got something they can talk about, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we can definitely do that. But all of us should have received the email, and if you didn't receive it, I sent it from the chief. I sent it to this body. I also sent it to the commissioners as well. Also addressed the commissioners at their meeting on Thursday, and they asked for this to happen tonight. So I get it as it relates to accepting the letter. So it's up to you all what you want to do. The motion's on the floor. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayor, before
sorry,
you
go
go
ahead.
into there,
Yes, ma'am.
is it really necessary for me to read section 7.7 of the charter so everybody gets a good understanding of what they're doing? We have been asked by our constituents to employ this this law, and we're saying what? That nowhere in here does it say turn it over to the police. It says we have the right and the power to investigate this, to subpoena witnesses, all sorts of things of that nature. Are we really going to sit here and tell our constituents, no?
I think a motion is on the floor.
Call for the question.
I don't think nobody trying to tell them no.
Call for the question.
You know, I don't think they're trying to tell them no.
I think that we did. We calling for the question.
Okay, the motion
Roll
is to.
call, please.
Okay, to accept the letter as is with Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
What was it? I'm sorry. Go back. What you said?
The motion is to accept the letter as is from the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Oh yeah, go with you.
Is that a yay?
Yeah.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley.
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
And Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 yays.
All right, motion carries. All right, now we're getting off into the part of the agenda for public participation. We ask that you state your name for the record clearly. Also too, that you adhere to a minute. You will be recognized by the chair. Councilman Chisholm, if you could give them the instructions. Go ahead, I'm sorry. City Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, before he gives the instructions, I have 2 items that I need to read into the record.
Okay, go ahead.
The first item is it says to Chief Riley from resident Commissioner DeSala Scott of Inkster Housing Board. Greetings, Chief Riley. I'm just checking the status of my investigation case involving invasion of privacy on a public official who is also a tenant of Inkster Public Housing. In the case of my confidential Inkster Housing documents that were stolen and distributed without my knowledge and consent, and somehow gotten into the hands of Inkster Housing Commission, Resident Council, and past present Board of Commissioners hands and given to Mayor Wimberly without being reported to HUD, Chief Riley, or Inkster Housing Commission. In addition, when can I expect a police report and what's the plan of action? I need Chief Riley's police investigation report before my tenant hearing with HUD and participating outside agency boards. Thank you in advance. DeSala Scott. The next item that I have is my name is Cornell Hayes. Mayor Wimberly, your BFF and Inkster real estate developer Alfonso Wallace owes the city of Inkster over $20,000 in delinquent taxes over multiple properties in Inkster. The address of 4036 Ash, 4239 Farnham, and 28951 Hazelwood. Will you demand your best friend pay his money, Mayor Wimberly? End of quote.
All right, moving right along. Councilman Chisholm, can you give folks instructions, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We are at public participation. Please use *9 from your handset if you've dialed in by telephone to be recognized. If you have joined us by video, please use the raise hand feature to be recognized. Once you are unmuted, please state your name for the record. You have 1 minute to address this body during public comment. Mayor Wembley, we have 2 hands raised at this time.
All right, perfect. Denise Champagne, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to announce that a partnership with the City of Inkster and Wayne County Public Health Department will be providing COVID-19 vaccines for seniors who are 65 and older and a resident of Inkster, working with the fire department to schedule it on Thursday, February 25th. Registration will close on February 22nd. You must pre-register to receive your shot. You can get that registration by dialing 313-563-4236, extension 2383. And we also will have transportation available if needed.
Give me that extension number. Yeah.
2383. That rings directly at my cell phone.
Now, just want to make sure that we thank our Wayne County Commissioner, Glenn Anderson. He called me and said, hey, we have some COVID vaccinations for you. We just want to set up a location. We've also been working with the Legacy Group. They were out at the Thompson Towers, Twin Towers, Cherry Hill Senior Towers, and Cherry Hill Lower Senior Towers on Henry Ruff and Cherry Hill last week doing health assessments, getting ready for COVID vaccinations. But this is totally separate. So what the Legacy Group did last week is not the same thing that Denise just spoke on. So that's something that, again, with Wayne County, and again, thank you so much to Glenn Anderson for making sure that we're a part of that. So Denise is heading that up along with Chief Hubbard to be able to make sure that we get those vaccinations out. So we want to make sure that you call into the number. So we're going to get that actual flyer that Troy had up, posted in all of our social media stuff. We're going to try to also do a call, text to our seniors in the population, but we need for you all to spread the word as it relates to being able to sign up. We're not going to turn anybody away if you don't sign up. However, you have to be a resident of the city of Inkster, 65 or older, or at risk for COVID-19. Also, too, that won't be the only day. So we're going to try to do as many as we possibly can with the vaccinations that's provided to us, and then we're going to go from there. Denise, did you have anything else to add to that?
Well, I guess I need to talk to you further about the senior buildings to make sure that they're taken care of, because we did not include them in this count. But we had about 40 people call today, so we're heading up. I'm looking for the whole week of calls. So anybody who needs to register, and we are doing it on pre-registration only. People who don't have a registration will be asked to wait till we're completed with those that reserve their spot.
All right. Any questions from this body for Ms. Champagne?
Now, I'm glad you clarified that, Mr. Chair, because that was a question I saw on Facebook, and I hope that person is watching. They had commented, was this for Inkster residents only? So
yes, at the current time, we have to take care of our own first, and then we're going to move from there. So we are working with different relationships throughout the community, Western Wayne, Oakwood Health, Zaman International, Operation Refuge, as it relates to getting the word out, and then also to getting other folks access that's not in our community. But right now, this is for our community. All right, moving right along. Let's go ahead with Councilwoman Connie Mitchell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to address a misstatement by Councilman Williams. The letter was sent by me on behalf of the Inkster Parks and Recreation Commission. I am the recording secretary, therefore it is my duty to send correspondence as requested by the chair. If you will review the letter that was sent, Councilman Williams, it was sent from those members on the commission who voted to have the letter sent. I was one of those people. It was not just my letter as you have intimated this evening. Thank you.
All right. Moving right along, Jennifer Williams, please. G. Williams.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, City of Inkster. I'm coming to you on behalf of Operation Refuge. We wanted to give an update to our clients at Mother's Pantry. Unfortunately, due to the inclement weather, Mother's Pantry will not open on Wednesday, February 17th. Mother's Pantry will not open. We will not be open for food distribution this upcoming Wednesday, February 17th. If you can please, City Council, all residents that are listening, please get that information out to the community. We don't want to have anyone come and we're not there to service them. Secondly, some of you may have seen that Operation Refuge has been on our hearts. We are an organization that likes to give, and we believe in collaborative partnerships. And we want to honor those individuals in our community who have been on the front lines during 2020, during the COVID pandemic. So please, I'm asking each member of council to nominate at least 2 individuals in your district that you would recognize as exceptional COVID community heroes. I'm sure each of you have close relationships to individuals in your districts and you know the work that's being done. We want to cast it wide so that we're able to honor all those that have served in this past year. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's recognize Charles Blackwell, please.
Hello, yes, this is Charles Blackwell. I wanted to state that Mayor Wembley, you are looking very sharp tonight in that gray suit. But the suit you should be wearing is a Wayne County Jail jumpsuit for the corruption that you and Alice Legion is involved in. I also want to state Stephen Chisholm, instead of worrying about FOIA requests for text messages and emails, how about you worry about paying your water bill on time? Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Don G. Jones, please. Is that Don? What are you doing, Steve? Do you got something on your end? Because I don't see. Is he moving?
Unmute.
I think you unmuted yourself back again. Okay.
I finally got there.
Oh, there you go. All right, go ahead.
I was concerned about the covert vaccination for the field inspectors, the electrical and building inspectors, to see where we fall on the list of vaccination because they're under 65.
Yeah, that's a good question, but I think our fire chief can handle that for you. That's an administrative thing, so we're definitely gonna work that out for you, and get you with the first responders. So
Right.
thanks for bringing that to our attention. So we'll make sure that happens. Chief Hubbard's on the line right now, so we'll make sure we follow up tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, let's go with 1309. Mr. Chisholm.
Hey, it's Kafense Mandisa. First, just wanted to say it's great that we're getting the vaccine as fast in a lot of other cities. So that's amazing. But I also wanted to let everyone know that I'm here for the city as always. If ever you guys need me, I just want to remind you, I have a master's in insurance risk management. So on a volunteer basis, however you guys need me, I know, it may be uncomfortable it's giving me certain information, and that's fine. I respect that. That means you're doing your own risk management. But anything that you are comfortable with me doing, I'm here for you. So that's it.
Mr. Mendisa, you introduced us to Sue, and we know that we're gonna keep working with you. Rhonda's just been out of the loop here lately, so I think when Sue come back in, we're definitely gonna get you jump back in. So thank you.
All right.
We appreciate you.
All right, cool.
All right, let's recognize 1066, please.
All right, there we go.
State your name for the record, please. They are off mute. I can see on my end. I see.
If they're manually muted from their side, they would need to press the unmute button on their handset. I'm not sure if they have it muted or not.
Hello, Mayor and Council. This is Peggy Bishop from Murray's Real Estate Services. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Hey, Peggy.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Just calling, just wanted to mention a couple topics as far as the land sales are concerned. The first thing is the good standing letter. When Stephanie and I go to a client that is interested in purchasing land from the city of Inkster, the first thing we ask is if they have any monies owed to the city. And we normally get the answer, no, I do not. And that's when we move forward. Some of the offers that are on the table now were from the last administration. So they've been there for a while, and that may be the reason for a couple of them getting a little behind. But for the most part, we do ask them, and they do sign the good standing letter stating that they are in good standing. In the past, we were able to take offers if they did owe Wayne County, as long as they were in a payment arrangement. I don't know if that's something that we're going to continue or not. And then I also wanted to mention that we did in the past make sure that the owners beside the lots were given an opportunity to purchase the lots, but a lot of the things that are on the table right now are from residents that live right next door to the lot. They've been keeping up the land for some time and they just decided to purchase it. So I just wanted to state those couple of points for the record so that Mayor and Council would know.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bishop. We appreciate you. Appreciate the work you're doing for the city.
Yes,
all right,
thank
then.
you.
All right, guys. Moving
Thank you.
right
We
along.
appreciate you all.
Yeah. Mr. Bivens, you on the line there, sir? I didn't see his name, but he said he's on the line. You say yes, Steve? You got him? All right. And that beard looking cool, man. You looking smooth with that beard, man. We can't hear you though, Jerome.
So hold on a second, Jerome. I think he might have been pushing the button too many times and a couple people, because he's got co-host privileges. He can unmute himself. There you go.
All right.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right, give us an update on the snow that's coming, because I know you have put some information out.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council, viewing audience, residents of Inkster. I declare a snow emergency that went into effect tonight from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday due to the incoming weather we are in the process of getting now all the way to tomorrow morning. It's been up. It was 5 to 9 inches. Now the last text I just got probably about 20 minutes ago, now it's 6 to 10 inches coming this way. So all vehicles will have to be off the street. The police chief, they do what they have to do. They enforce what I ask of the ordinance. Code enforcement goes out. We give you opportunity now. That's why I went from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday, because it's going to take us, if we get that amount of snow, it's probably going to take us a day and a half, maybe 2 days to clear all the roads. Because you're talking about pushing my guys to 16 hours to get this done. So I'm just asking, Inkster, we good at spreading the word. So just let the community know, especially in Inkster housing. They have to find somewhere to park those vehicles, because I have to plow the street so the rubbish trucks can get down those streets. So we need to get that word out, because the snow is, this is a real snow emergency, our first of the year, but it's coming.
All right, of course, I'm glad you spoke to that as it relates to just cars parked on the street and being ticketed. So we're going to give folks an opportunity before we get to that point to move their vehicles as it relates to ticketing folks, correct?
The police chief can speak to that better than I can, because I turn that over to them and I work with them on that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, then, and then to speak on the water filters, date, time, all that good stuff.
This Saturday and Sunday at the Inkster Rec Center, we will be passing out water filters from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. both days. It is drive-through. All we require that everyone in the car please have a mask on. When you pull up to the site, there will be people there to take your information. You don't have to touch nothing, write nothing down. Once you give us your information, we'll show you a picture. You say, hey, this is the faucet I got. I don't. We'll have a picture. We're putting it in your car, either in your back seat of your trunk, so you don't have to touch nobody. All we asking is you have masks on. This is in compliance with the state because, as you're aware, you've gotten a letter. There's another letter that went out that you should receive this week. They went out separate in the mail because it couldn't fit in the water bills to all residents. That we did fail our lead and copper. We didn't fail. We just exceeded the action level, which is 15 parts per billion. We exceeded it by 3 parts per billion. So we're just doing what we did in 2019. But to everybody's concern, and the mayor was on the call with me, we're being proactive because we have older houses in the city of Inkster, certain parts of the city that were built and they had lead services. Now by us addressing it, and we're getting that lead out of the city. We're replacing those services. We have them on the list to be replaced this spring. And we have great water already. Our water quality is good. We just raising the bar. So, the state is very complimentary of us and thankful for us for being proactive. We're one of the cities that's really taking this serious and getting it done. I mean, we have 20-year plans going on right now to replace the infrastructure in the city of Inkster. Thanks to Mayor Wembley, we've got that off the ground. It's in the budget for last year. It's going to be continuing on. Even after we're gone, you're gone, because it's for the next 20 years. So we're just bringing the city up to the 21st century and making sure that what's in the ground is of quality and good content. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And thank you too, Jerome.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for all the work that you're doing. Thank you for your guys. I know you only got about 5 guys over there working right now?
8.
Okay. It's
I
still
need
5.
6. I need 6 more.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a job,
Looking for a job, please
Yes.
come apply.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in desperate need of help over there. I'm wearing my guys out, especially
Yeah,
with the
good.
snow and these water mains. The mains are popping like crazy. We had 2 or 3 today. We fixed a bunch over the weekend, so they popping because this weather is cold. So, if you know somebody looking for a job, please send them my way. I'd appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you,
All right,
sir.
City Clerk?
Hello.
Mr. Mayor, I just needed to read.
Jerome, go back on mute. There you go. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just needed to read one more from Miss Octavia. And she just sent this. She said she wanted to announce that the Chamber of Commerce will be having their 22nd annual networking mixer via Zoom on March 23rd, 2021 at 6:00 p.m.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, Sergeant Wall has something to address.
Please, Sergeant Wall.
Still there? Oh, hold on.
I see her down there, but she ain't on.
Sure, just gave her co-host privileges, so maybe she's trying. There she go.
I apologize. I'm having some difficulty with my device this evening. I just wanted to piggyback off of Director Bivens' statement with regards to the snow emergency. We all know that we want our streets plowed. Let's make sure we receive our city services and cooperate with the Department of Public Service and Code Enforcement. Remove your vehicles from the street so that you're not penalized. Excuse me, so that you can also receive your city services, make sure your streets are cleared, as well as being advised that when the snow stops, the ordinance requires that the the sidewalks and walkways are cleared by business owners as well as residents, so we can receive our mail through our postal carriers. And this is just a time that we have to get through everything together. And let's just make sure that we cooperate and make sure we get our city services that we pay taxes for. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that addition, Officer Wall. All right, moving right along. City Treasurer.
All right, so I know that my portions have been long the last couple of times, so I will try to dial this back a little bit. First off, as always, I do want to thank the Treasury team for everything they do. Second, I am excited that we have added an e-check payment option for our website for taxes and utilities. Big thing about this is it's a $1.50 charge for any payment under $10,000. So there's a number of people that have paid their taxes with credit cards at a 3% fee. This will be substantially cheaper, and we're hoping people take advantage of this because you also get an immediate receipt of payment. And kind of building off of that, we're working on providing a better online service to people. That's going to include, what we're trying to do is have auto payment options, scheduled payments, emailed tax statements. So these are all things that we're looking to roll out over the next several months. I do want to say thank you to Andrea and Tamika at the Inkster Housing Commission to say what they did. They managed to finish their audit over 6 weeks in advance of the filing due date in order to help the city assist the city with the city's audit. So now the IHC final audit is with the city's auditor, that's Raymond, and Raymond is working on completing the final steps of the city's audit. We are still targeting a March 1st timeframe. The forecasting process is ongoing. Plant Moran and I have met with some departments. We still have some more departments to meet with. We are going essentially line by line to really figure out everything. The mayor can attest to this. We went through pretty in detail, and we have another meeting probably that we'll have to have. And with so much emphasis being on our prior year considerations, we may need a little bit more time with this. I'm still figuring that out, but I do want to say that we are making progress with that. At the last council meeting, I mentioned a large amount of outstanding grant reimbursements with the state. That's about $1 million arising from 2018, 19, and 2020. I believe council saw the email on this, but Plant Moran and others have spent considerable amounts of time. They've made solid strides to gathering the necessary information in detail. We're now working, I think Tracy is going to be working with the department heads to kind of shore up the end of that so we can submit for those reimbursements. And lastly, I do want to mention that we have found that many of our sewer bills to the Wayne County Environmental Services remain unpaid as far back to late 2018. So this amount owed is roughly $4.3 million as of September 30th, 2020. And this is a substantial amount of our money. And as such, we're working with Wayne County to create a payment plan, and we will unveil that at the next city council meeting. And the reason for that is we want to make sure we have enough liquidity while we're paying down the balance. We can afford this, but we don't want to take the hit all at once. And what we'll also try to do is eliminate penalties and interest that we have on this. And just to further clarify, these are bills that are budgeted. They're budgeted year over year. As far as why it wasn't paid is something I can't answer though.
Okay. All right, let's get off into mayor and council comments. Sandra Wiley.
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to address water bills. I'm getting a lot of calls from citizens who are saying their water bills have suddenly shot up and they've never been that high before. I go through the question, you know, like, is this an estimated bill or a actual bill? And they say it's an actual. So is there some sort of procedure or protocol they need to go through? Because I know a lot of people will take a picture of their bill and bring it to you to show that your reading is wrong. And also the second question to that is, how long do you estimate bills before you begin actually reading them again?
Go ahead, Vijay.
So regarding that, if there's anything that they believe is a discrepancy, they're welcome to contact us. We do have one of our cashiers as our supervisor. She is essentially dedicated to the water billing process, and she can certainly help anyone that has those types of questions. As far as estimates, we estimate unless there's any reason, or sorry, we have actuals unless there's any reason that we cannot have actuals. And in the situations where there's an estimate, then that's something where we can work with Mr. Bivens' team to get someone out there to ensure that the meter is working properly, and then we true it up after it's fixed.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to add the number to Ms. LeBrecq to June. The number is 313-563-7704.
Okay, then I guess my next question would be, if you've been getting actuals and you suddenly get an estimate, you should assume something is wrong and contact DPW to have it fixed? Or to have them look at it?
I would contact the treasurer's office first. And then the reason I say that is June can also set up the appointment for someone to go check it out. So she can not only help with the billing aspect, she can set up the appointment as well.
Okay, and if it turns out that you are in error,
we fix
the
it.
bill will be adjusted to put back whatever monies you charged that were erroneous?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Councilman Williams.
I won't even respond on what Ms. Connie Mitchell said, because I think that, first of all, when I addressed it, that I said the letter coming from the Park and Recreation Commissioner, and it had Connie Mitchell's name on it. Okay, and so what I did was I didn't specifically call any names out. What I did was indicated that we was aware of the situation and what it was told to us what was happening with the situation. Am I correct, Mr. Mayor? Am I correct?
Well, you this is your comments.
Okay.
Just listen. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so, and for that, I just want to say I'll be trying to shape up some of the appointments I have in my district. I'm gonna try to work on trying to get people to sit in there, get my youth and my adult on the Park and Recreation Commission and see it's needed. So therefore, I'll be making my recommendation at the next meeting. Okay. Other than that, hey, everybody stay safe, stay prayed up.
All right. Councilman Shaw.
Yes, sir. I just want to make an announcement that if you are someone who is 25 years or older, has a high school diploma and lives in Michigan, then there's a tuition-free pathway to college may be available through a new program called Michigan Reconnect. And this program offers scholarships specifically for adults who want to pursue an associate's degree. So the website is Michigan Reconnect, michigan.gov/reconnect is the website, so that you can see if you are eligible for free college tuition. And also, as I'm hearing, that the city of Inkster is hiring for HR department and also in its water department, if I heard correctly.
DPW.
And DPW. I want to put that on record there, that Inkster is hiring. And also, Mr. Chair, I would like to have, as always, police patrol on Harrison Street and also Magnolia Street and Oakwood Street. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I just want to state that Octavia Smith, her comments that the city clerk had announced, she just wanted to formally invite all of mayor and council to the mixer and stated that in email, a formal informational or flyer will be coming out. And secondly, I have constituents who always inquire on why do we allow people to say what they say during any meetings at public comment. And it's just a rule in the Open Meetings Act, and we have to abide by it so that we're not in violation. But I just wanted to say, first off, I'm glad I gained an Instagram follower. That means a lot to me. And I also want to say, I'm not worried about FOIAs and stuff. I made a public statement on a profile that's open to the public. Just like Mr. Blackwell has an ability to address his belittling and disrespectful comments to this body, I have a platform to address anything I want publicly. However, my comments are factual and they speak to a point where people can take what they want from it. Furthermore, his comments tonight proves to you all in a statement that I said prior that he is watching me. He's watching me via social media. He's looking at my taxes and my utilities clearly, or he has someone else watching him, because why would he be so upset about what I post? And for the record, I'll read exactly what I posted. First, my cell phone records. Now they want my emails. The things we are subjected to as elected officials. Stay strong, push forward, continue serving the people. Now, why that enraged him in the capacity that he had to say what he said, I have no idea. Secondly, if Mr. Blackwell is so concerned about my water bill being paid on time, in full, or partial, I welcome him to log back onto the city's website, type my address in like he did before, use some of his funds to pay my water bill. His GoFundMe totals $83,499 with a goal of...
No, I'm with you, Steve. Go ahead. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
with a goal of $250,000. And he works full-time. So with that being said, he's clearly above the poverty level, and I feel hurt that he would attack me in such a way because clearly Inkster is a community where everybody's not able. And that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor. Be safe, everyone.
Right.
I didn't hear that right. He got how much money in there?
$83,499.
Oh, Jesus.
He could build you a church, Reverend Williams.
I hear you.
Well, Steve, if I could just go ahead, I'm sorry, because this Blackwell thing, you can say whatever you want to say about me. It is what it is, right? That's what we subjugated to, right? However, he donated $600 to our football team, our youth organization. And we had people from our community that were applauding that when we just settled with him from a lawsuit that he's costing us thousands of dollars. And when we talk about just all of these FOIA requests and all this other stuff that he's been doing, just costing us our staffing time and all this other stuff. And for people to applaud him for giving our football team $600, like he's a blessing to our community, is really a slap in the face to our public. And it's just, I'm sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to jump on your boat, but it's just unreal. So at any rate, Councilwoman Washington.
Yes, I'm excited that it's Black History Month. I was able to secure 250 day passes for Inkster residents to visit the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American Studies. This incentive was made possible by the generous donation by the museum, and the tickets will be distributed to selected community organizations and nonprofits to provide children the opportunity to learn African American history. So I will be releasing that information this week.
Outstanding. All right, moving right along. Mayor Pro Tem. You're on mute, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry. You're on mute.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Wondering when we having our budget amendment? Because I know we normally have budget amendments in January. And I know VJ has been working really hard, but we still have not gotten our reports for our budget to actuals. And,
for the budget to actuals for January?
Yes.
Yeah, we're still working on close because we've spent, I pretty much monopolized all of Plant Moran's time and some of other people's times trying to get the FDCVT grants from the last 2-3 years together. That's been our priority, trying to get that $1 million. And so that's on me, but yeah, I mean, I more or less made that determination. So I mean,
Okay.
we will be able to get you the month-end reports for January this week, though.
Okay, what about our budget amendments?
The budget amendments, we're doing that in conjunction with the forecast. So that's something I'm still hoping to get by the end of like late this month.
Okay, so the questions that I have from the last report that I got, I just email you because I do have some questions on the revenue and expenditure side.
Yep, if you send it over my way, I'm happy to do whatever variance analysis is needed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I'm all done, Mayor.
All right, perfect. All right, just wanted to say that I got a chance to meet with the new Sheriff Ray Washington, and I just want to say that I think he's going to continue on the path, if not better, from the distinguished gentleman, rest in peace, Benny Napoleon. I'm looking forward to the relationship with him. We had a great conversation with the chief, the AC, and myself, and he's ready to work within our community. Also, too, I want to thank Warren Evans for 10,000 masks that he provided to the city of Inkster. We've been handing those out through the Department of Public Works, through all of our buildings, putting them out in stores and gas stations, things of that nature. However, we will be giving them out also on the water, with the water filters and the COVID vaccinations. Let's see here, just checking off my list real quick. The State of the City address will be held on March the 10th at 6 o'clock. It will be virtual. I would love for all of our council members to participate in that because it will be virtual. You can give me a 2-minute video. I'll have Rhonda actually type something up, kind of welcoming you in it, to give a presentation just basically on your district, some of the things that you're doing, some of the things you have done or will be doing within your district. And I think it should be all inclusive as it relates to the state of the city. So I'm really excited about that. Also, too, Parks and Rec, as it relates to a walkthrough at the Parks and Rec Department. I did address the Parks and Rec Commission and looking forward to them giving me a couple of dates to walk through with me as we look at the new vision and the layout for the Parks and Rec department as a whole, not just the actual rec center, but the actual parks that we have as well. So I'm looking forward to this body. I know that some of you, of course, with COVID are not going to necessarily come out. Maybe we'll get with Troy and see if we can do some type of video walkthrough with us as we're walking through. Some people will come out. I haven't received dates from the Parks and Rec Commission as of yet, but I want to coincide those together with the Parks and Rec Commission, and then also to Denise Champagne with the Senior Commission on Aging. So you guys can come in and kind of we'll walk through and kind of give you a preliminary overview of what we see and what we think we want the complex to look like and what we should be remodeling inside the complex. And then you will tell us, no, I don't like this or I like that. And then we'll actually bring the architect back out and know that all this stuff is actually being paid for by the county. We don't have to do a reimbursement. This is not a grant that we have to match funds. This is 100% $800,000 that we have that the county has executed contracts. They're actually overseeing the actual project itself, where of course we'll have input. We'll work with an architect, design it and all that stuff so we can do it one time and do it well. So I'm looking forward to having all your input along with that. We did address the snow emergency to the best of our ability. I know folks are, they call me with this and say, well, Mayor, I don't have a place to park. I don't want to be ticketed. And we're just asking that you work with us, listen for the truck, move the car into the driveway or up to the side, wherever you got to do during that time. Get all the garbage cans off the street if it's not your trash day, so we can have a smooth transition following through. All right, I know we have some closed session items.
Mayor, real quick, you just spoke about snow removal. So with DPW, would they go over to DPW to apply for those open jobs that Mr. Bivens have, or where?
Steve, I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, man. I like you, man. And I apologize. We just need to communicate better. Okay.
No,
so I need your help so we can post all those positions everywhere they need to be.
No, because y'all announced it tonight.
Yeah, they can come over to DPW too.
Oh, okay, there we go.
We're gonna make that happen, and you're gonna work with me, and we're gonna make it most stuff happen, so it'll be all over the place. Okay.
Oh no, we good.
Make sense? All right.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So yeah, definitely with that DPW. Actually, matter of fact, DPW also too, you just come right on over to the clerk's office. She can call down to Rhonda. We can get you an application so you can apply. So we'll make sure that we make that as smooth as we can possibly. And then also to the website, we got an actual application that you can fill out, general application. All right. Just again, moving right along, closed session items. I know one will be with Chief of Police discussing Inkster Parks and Rec and Alex Legion as we go into closed session. Any other closed session items, Mrs. Clerk?
Yes, Clark and Blackwell.
All right, motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Support. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. All right, this brings us into the meeting where we're going to our closed session. We can go into closed session and then we're going to come back out. The meeting is still going on. As we do that, you can wait for us to come back out and then we'll take action or adjourn after that. All right, Troy.
I'm not sure if everybody is back yet because they might not have left the room, but I think Troy might be about, or Troy can actually close the breakout room. I think he just did.
Okay.
Yep, it's closing in 10 seconds.
Good. Okay, good. We got everybody. Okay, I just want to just state for the record that we did not discuss anything as it relates to Alex Legion, as it relates to the Open Meetings Act, because he is no longer personnel with the city of Inkster. We could not discuss anything as it relates to Alex Legion and the rec complex. However, I'm going to yield some time to Chief Riley just to make a statement. Chief.
Oh, he might have to be unmuted again. Let me.
He got co-host over there, Brian.
Oh, he should be good then.
Chief Riley.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
What is this host is asking? I don't know what that is. Can you still hear me?
We can.
Okay. Look, I tried to get on earlier when you just had the discussion during council earlier, but I couldn't get on. Basically, what it is, we're conducting a criminal investigation, and we're not going to talk further about the criminal investigation. In reference to the letter, and I think this is very important that came in, and I responded to the email. Basically, is this, and for everybody to understand, no one can interfere with law enforcement conducting a criminal investigation. No one can. It's just not possible, because when you start down that road, it becomes part of obstructing us of doing our job, and that can get and that can cause you some heartache and cause you some criminal problems. So I think there may have been a misunderstanding about what's being read in the particular charter. That doesn't deal with criminal investigations. So we're doing the criminal investigation with issues dealing with the rec center, and that's all to it. And no one can interfere with that because it has its own path dealing with the law.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. You guys have a good rest of your week.
You too. Be safe, everybody.
Yeah, you too. Be safe.
You too. Have a good night.
Oh man.
What?
I need people to shovel snow. All our seniors been calling. Seniors been calling me about snow. So if anybody know anybody that can help us shovel snow, give me a call. Inbox me, call me, 734-260-9672. We got to get our seniors help shoveling snow. I'll be out tomorrow and the next day shoveling snow. I got a few addresses. I need some help. All right. Sorry. See everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.